Live from Beech Grove High School. Big game tonight. Two teams looking to advance deep into the playoffs. And Craig, it's crazy to think that we are already about halfway through the season right now. You don't want to think too much about the playoffs moving forward, but a big game tonight, kind of on your own home turf. If you're Cecina, this is your third game at Beech Grove High School. A major battle a few weeks ago with Speedway, but two teams that can put up a lot of points, but also two teams that can give up a lot of points. Defense might be the key tonight here. Give me some more of your keys tonight before we get into this game.
No, I think that's a big part of it. I mean, you got Cecina averaging 39 a game. You got Heritage 48. So you're right, Tony. Both these teams are explosive and can do it in a lot of different ways with a lot of different weaponry with their personnel. The thing that might come into play is just the stingy defense of the Crusaders, only allowing 5 points a game. That's they've had two shutouts, one game with 7, one touchdown, another one with 2. And I think the big story here is you got Heritage, who won sectionals in 19 and 20, and then they got put out of 21 after beating Cecina in the regular season, and then they get the first game of sectionals. So they kind of cut off the two-peat, if you will, for Heritage to get the three-peat. And so I'm sure that's marked on their schedule and trying to learn from that.
What do you learn from a game like this tonight, where this is definitely an opponent that is worthy of a deep playoff run on both sides between Cecina and Heritage Christian? This is a game where even I think it's going to go down to the wire, but even if you lose, what can you learn from this game? Because a lot of this is about mental focus and saying, all right, it's all about, we want to win a football game tonight, but let's worry about football games in October, because that's what really, for lack of a better term, pays the bills.
It is. I mean, obviously, it's no secret. Here in Indiana, everyone qualifies.
Yep.
But every week matters, and there's no weeks off. I mean, and especially with two programs like this. I mean, you got one being led by a 33-year head coach in Otto Hurley. They're a team that's going to bring a lot of discipline, a lot of physicality. Both teams are dynamic on the offensive side of the ball, and I think it's one that you can learn a lot. You don't want to look too far ahead. You got to take it week by week and being in a position where you're learning each week and what the season is showing you. But these are two dynamic programs, two dynamic coaches with great schemes that both of them run against each other, and I think we're in for a great contest here tonight.
And you talk about the season. We got a 4-0 team, a 3-1 team. It's hard to believe that we're mid-September. The tournament is going to come out in a couple of weeks. But let's talk about these quarterbacks tonight. To me, this was like a game that's going to come down to a defensive stop, right? These are two teams that can put up offensive numbers. How important is it to stay in your rhythm and keep that momentum on your side?
Well, I think it's huge. I mean, again, we just talked about it in terms of week by week, and you can't look and dwell on what last week was. You can't look forward ahead to next week. You have a great program every night that you're playing. But you're right, Tony. I mean, these two teams have dynamic quarterbacks, but they're very different in how they get it done. Cecina is one that's really looking more a possession-type program that's trying to burn a lot of clock, probably more on the ground game, where you have Heritage is a much better balanced team. I mean, Kyle Antoine's coming in, and he's one of the top 5 in the state in total yards, where he's averaging 230-plus yards in the air and over 100 on the ground, so he's leading them in both categories. Throws a great ball. And then he's got a couple new weaponaries this year. Luke Valerio is transferred in from Fishers.
Yep.
He's a firecracker. He's one that you get him to the edge. This kid's it's lights out. You give him some space.
Let's talk about this rushing attack from Cecina, right? You got Fitz Ramsey. He's averaging over 110 yards on the ground per game. We saw him have an explosive game against Speedway a few weeks ago. And on paper, that Speedway game looks like a blowout, but 21 points in the fourth quarter. It wasn't a blowout, but when you have a rushing attack and guys that have 3 guys over at least 20 yards attempts, as the defense of a Heritage Christian, how do you align for that?
Well, I think a lot of it's going to be in terms of really trying to hone in and understanding and executing their assignments. Talked to Coach Ray earlier this week. He talked a little bit about that as far as they have to come into this game and stop in the run. That's more of what the Crusaders are going to give you on the offensive side of the ball, and to be able to match a lot of their physicality will be a big part of that. He is one that is averaging 111 yards a game, and they will look to just wear you down. On the flip side of that, with Heritage, they are without their leading running back tonight, Jalen Bonds. Broke his collarbone, and so he's out. Coach Ray was talking about they're hoping to maybe possibly get him back maybe for the last game, if not for the playoff run. But they got another back that's averaging 90-plus yards in C.J. Opper. So it's going to be a ground game, but it's also going to be able to see how the Crusaders' defense can continue to be stellar as they have, and can they control this balanced attack of the Eagles?
And you mentioned that Luke Valerio is a guy that is going to be the number one target most of the night tonight. How do you slow him down and make Heritage Christian go elsewhere?
Well, I think the biggest thing is you got to protect the edges. You have to protect the sidelines and really force him back into where your help defensively is at. Like I said, if you let this guy set to the edge, he's really hard to contain.
You've got a lot of weapons, too, all-purpose yards all over the place for Heritage Christian. But this is a playoff-type game. Yes, it's a little bit hotter than normal, I would say, for a mid-September contest. But this is a playoff-type game. Talk about the confidence that can be built on both sides of the football here, knowing that, look, we just beat a team that could go deep into the playoffs if you do get that win tonight.
Well, and a lot of these guys can see each other again later in the season, but I think each week you have to use as a building block. You have to use as a step to take you into that following week. But you can't look ahead. These are two teams that can't overlook each other, and I think it's one that they have to use this each week to be able to grow not only their program but their confidence.
And injuries, as you mentioned, it's hard to overcome injuries. You know, Chuck Pagano for the Colts used to preach this all the time, next man up, next man up. Yeah. How important is that tonight to just have that next man up to be able to convert when you need them?
Well, I think, and that's the nice thing that and talking to Coach Ray, I know that's one thing that he says, that from a depth point of view, this is one of the deepest teams that he's had in 3 to 4 years. And so that's a great thing to have in terms of not knowing when you're standing there on the sideline. We talk about the focus of always staying focused to the game, because you never know when injury's going to come into play. On a hot night like tonight, you never know when the cramping. You think by week 5 you're kind of through that than what you see. But a lot of the temperatures that we're getting in tonight really is like week 1 and week 2. And so I think from that standpoint, we'll see how that comes into play. But these guys on the sidelines got to stay focused. They got to stay ready, and it is next man up mentality.
Cecina 4-0 on the season. Heritage 3-1. We want to thank our friends at the Morales Group, building better futures one story at a time, as we get ready here for the kickoff from Beech Grove High School. Cecina taking on Heritage Christian, the third straight game here for Cecina at Beech Grove, after Beech Grove a battle last week and a win for Cecina. Our officials tonight: Tim Cartwright, Kevin Milan, Dan Morgan, Zach Watson, and Jason Ferguson. As a coach, let me put you in that spot right now. If you win the toss, you probably want to kick off. How important for your defense just to get on the field early and make those big stops?
Well, I think if you're one, I think in a lot of ways, you see a lot of teams defer. But if you're probably Coach Ray, the way your offense is and how dynamic they are, you probably want the ball. And then on the flip side with Coach Hurley, as stingy as his defense is, as we talked about earlier, you're probably one that you do want to defer, because I want to get your defense on there and get that stop and really create the momentum to where the base is of your program.
And outside of the Speedway win a few weeks ago for Cecina, I think you could say on both sides of the football here, whatever sideline you're on, this is the toughest test you're going to have. This is kind of where you know where you are. Week 1, you're going to have some timing issues. You're going to have some fumbles. You're going to have some issues just because you haven't hit anybody else besides your own players. But now we're a few weeks into this, week number 5. You kind of know where your football team is tonight. How much is that a picture in the puzzle for these coaches going, what I know what we had tonight is probably what we're going to have the rest of the year?
No, I think that's a great point, Tony. I think by now you feel like with your new group, a lot of times coming into week 1, week 2, kids are still trying to hold on to last year a little bit, what success they have, what downs they have. But by week 5 that we're into here tonight, you feel like that, you as a program, you're establishing what and who you are, what your identity is, and now you take that and be able to build on that in the last 4 to 5 weeks of the season.
So Nolan will kick off as Cecina will kick the football off to start this contest against Heritage Christian. Should be a battle tonight. And like I said, when you look at the schedule, there's going to be a lot of games that you highlight, right? Like this is a game that we know that we are battle tested a team that is a playoff caliber. We're not talking about first or second week of the sectional, but we're talking about regional type football. These are two teams that do have expectations coming into the season of going deep into October and early November. A high kick fielded at the 5-yard line. He's out across the 15 to the 20, the 25, and just stop shy of the 30-yard line. Let's talk about run versus pass. Obviously, in any sport or any football level, you want to get that run game going to open up your pass. How important is it for your offense here to get a good drive going early to say, we're going to establish what we do best and then open up that pass game? Because we've seen Cecina a lot put the football into the hands of their running backs and gain those first downs via the ground.
Well, I think a lot of the Eagles are certainly going to play with where they're trying to find the offensive balance. They're dual dynamic threat with the pass and with the ground game. So I think it's one that they want to try to neutralize and be in a position where they find that balance here tonight.
Heritage Christian with the ball first, out of shotgun, man in motion. Quick handoff to the up back, breaks a couple of tackles and gets it down to about the 38-yard line. Opper, a nice little pickup of about 8 there to set up a second down and short, which, again, we talk about football on any level. Any time that you can gain yards on first down, your goal to keep drives going is second and shorts, third and shorts.
No, absolutely. I mean, it's great positive yards on first down. Anything that you get +4 is a great first down yardage, and here he got 9. C.J. Opper's a guy that's averaging 92 yards a game and one that can really do a lot of things with his feet.
Antoine out of the shotgun and man in the backfield. Quick handoff to the right side. Gets the edge past the first down marker. Gets past the 45-yard line. Mark him down at the 47-yard line. A quick little pickup there of Opper. So 2 quick runs, 1 first down.
Well, and great job of not only setting the edge there, but for him getting another 8. So you got 17 yards on 2 carries. And, again, they're looking to establish that. And Antoine's a guy we talked about earlier that, you'll see it tonight. Has great touch, great efficiency. He's a very cerebral quarterback, can do great things with his feet as well.
And more than likely, before the end of the night, he'll be over 1,000 yards passing. Here's a quick handoff, but it's going to be stopped. So a great stop there for Cecina's defense to say, hey, look, you've ran the ball twice on us for 17 yards. We're going to smack you in the mouth and move those yardage back. So mark it at about the 44-yard line, so a second down and about 14 coming up here.
Yeah, and that's one that, again, we've used the word stingy for the Crusaders defense, and so it kind of got a little eye-opener with the first 2, but great job there by Jaden Long getting about a 5-yard loss there.
So Antoine in the backfield with Opper. Again, Opper's had a great season so far, 363 yards. He's averaging 7.9 yards per carry. They'll throw it here to the right side, and it is overthrown. The quick 2-step drop, but he overthrows Valerio, his receiver, and that'll set up a third down and long here for the first third down of the night for Heritage Christian.
Well, and that'll be a key, too, tonight is for the Crusader defense with the passing game that the Eagles will show is to keep everything underneath. Don't get beat vertical over the top. Be containment defense, keep them underneath, and don't allow the big plays.
Valero one-on-one coverage here to your near side of the screen. 3 wide receivers right, no running back in the backfield. Quick pass across the left side, and it is just behind him, incomplete. He had his man in one-on-one coverage, but just can't make the throw.
Yeah, I kind of had it behind him. Luke made a good break on the top of his route there into the inside, but Kyle's pass there was a little bit behind him, a little tough one. As you see that he not only does it from a standpoint of with his arm through the air and with his feet on the ground, but he also uses his feet as well because he's the punter also.
How much you have to be on your toes here, yeah, when your quarterback is your punter. As a defensive Cecina, yes, it's 4th and 14. More than likely they're not going to fake this, but this could set up something for later on in the contest. So we have a high punt, stops at the 30, going to bounce back to about the 20-yard line, and that's where Cecina will take over on their first possession of the game. So a quick first down on 17 yards on the ground, but then a nice stop there by Cecina to force Heritage Christian into a punt.
Yeah, and as we talk about, with these 2 sides now changing, you got Dave Mendez, who's their quarterback, and obviously Brandon Fitz-Ramsey, guy that's averaging 111 a game on the ground. Again, they're a possession-type team that's going to try to, wear you down. On the Eagle side, it's the Colin and Colin show. Yep. Colin Thompson, Colin Jones, these 2 guys. Thompson came in as a preseason All-State linebacker, and then on the Crusader side, Mason Berryalt and Tamir Woods, 2 preseason All-State selections too.
Mendez in the backfield, 16 of 32 on the season, 362 yards. Man in motion. Quarterback keeper get past the 20-yard line to about the 22-yard line, so pickup of about 2. And let's talk about this too. Momentum is so huge in high school football. Getting your defense on the field first, getting that stop. What does that do for your offensive mindset? Does it make you want to take a few more shots downfield? Or do you have to kind of bring yourself in and say, you know what, let's just stick to our offensive rhythm and try to get those first downs and move the chains where we need to?
Yeah, I think a lot of it is trying to understand your great point in terms of momentum as we go here on first down here.
Fakes a handoff. Quick screen is going to be short. Bounces incomplete. So a 3rd down and about 8 coming up here for Cecina. Trying to mix up that run-pass option there. That one just falls a bit short. It looks like he was a bit rushed there, so a great push there by Heritage Christian.
Well, and Mendez is one that can do some things on his feet. They run him a fair amount as well, but I think it's going to be important to keep him tight along the A-gaps as well, to have some of those core linemen and linebackers, but not letting him get out of the pocket.
So we got a 4 wide receiver set here, 1 man in the backfield for Mendez. 3rd down and 8 here early in the first quarter on IndianaSRN. 3-step drop. Looks, there's a flag on the play. It is completed to the 30-yard line. That'll get them back to very close to that first down line, but we will see what the flag is here. More than likely in the backfield on a quick pass like that, it's a hold.
Yeah, whenever you see your offensive unit walking backwards, it's certainly not a good sign. But Mendez finding his key receiver there in Woods.
Ooh, a false start here.
And this will back it up, making it 3rd and about 13.
So 3rd down and 13. Cecina, the flag on the play should have been enough for the first down. And we talk about turnovers and big plays, but also these penalties will come back to bite you at the end of a football game. And we saw that with Cecina a few weeks ago in that Speedway contest. 4 wide receivers set in the slot. 3-step drop, steps up. Not a lot of pressure, fires to the left side. A little bit too high, and it is incomplete with Woods being the intended target. He's got 19 receptions on the season. And just like that, Cecina will be forced to punt as well. So both defenses kind of establishing that, hey, we're trying to set the tempo here early in this game with 8:46 left in the first quarter.
No, absolutely. I mean, it's one that you would expect with Cecina, but hadn't showed early, and the way to get out of the gates here as we get the punt away.
Good snap. Punt is a little bit low. It'll bounce right at midfield. It'll take a Cecina hop to about the 45-yard line, and that's where Heritage Christian will start their second drive of the contest. Mark it at the 44.5-yard line for Heritage Christian. So Cecina's defense, first couple of carries, give up 17 yards, but they get that stop. If you're Heritage Christian here, are you changing anything up? Or are you sticking to that run here early in the first and second down scenarios?
Well, and I don't anticipate Coach Ray will go heavy one way or the other. I think that they're after the balance. They're a very dual threat offensive unit, and I would look for a lot more mixing it up as they had a lot of run here on the first series.
Quarterback alone in the backfield, 5 wide receivers set, 3 to his right, 2 to his left. A quick fire. It is complete to the 50-yard line, down to the 40-yard line. A nice little pitch and catch there from Heritage Christian to pick up the first down. So a little bit of a gamble there on first down, but it works out to get across into Cecina territory.
And again, we talked about Antoine being a very cerebral quarterback. When he sets his feet, he makes really, really good decisions. Throws a really nice ball, as we saw it there with Palanconda.
Nice little pitch and catch. Will set it up at the 40-yard line. Man in motion. They will keep it. The quarterback keeper, and he is going to be tackled into the backfield. So a nice first stop there for Cecina in the backfield. That's number 51, Young. Gets back to the line of scrimmage barely, so set up a second down and 10 coming up here for the Eagles of Heritage Christian.
And we saw Mason Berryall. We'll be talking about him quite a bit tonight. He's a preseason All-State selection at the corner, but he also plays wideout for the Crusaders in on the tackle there with Antoine.
So Antoine in the backfield. He's got his four wide receivers set here, 1 man in the slot. And you want to get away from those throwing across your bodies across field. We'll see if they do that here on the quick handoff. Breaks one tackle, makes another man miss. Stiff arm down to about the 35-yard line. That should be a good gain there to set yourself up for a 3rd and short, and really that's what you wanted on 2nd down and 11.
It is, and I mean a lot of times, Heritage will hit you a lot with the spread, but a lot of times you would think seeing 4 receivers it's going to be a pass, but they do that simply to set up the run as well, to try to spread the defense out as well, and he understands that. As nasty as the Crusaders' defense has been and only giving 5 points up a game, they understand they're going to have to be able to have some versatility in their sets.
And we'll get your point on this here. If this is 4-down territory, quick rollout, firing across the right side of the 30-yard line, incomplete to the intended Dora. So now a 4th down and 6 from about the 40-yard line. Do you pin them deep or do you go for it here? Because, look, high school punters, you hope they can pin it deep, but if it's a touchback, it's really only about a 20-yard differential. I say you go for it here.
Yeah, I think anything at the 40 and inside is typically all 4-down territory with high school football. There's not much to lose or gain here.
5 wide receiver set, 1 man clearly wide open before the snap. Hopefully we'll see if Cecina will make an adjustment here. Antoine out of the backfield. 3-step drop, looks, under pressure, fires to 2 different wide receivers. One is caught down to the 2-yard line. A great pitch and catch. He finds Jones, who makes 1 man miss. Down inside the red zone. Mark him at the 4-yard line. You'll take that on 4th down any night of the week.
No, and that's a perfect example as we see the replay here. Look at the touch. Great route here and threw it into coverage as well, but he's got a great touch, great read. Sets his feet and just very poised with a 32-yard pickup.
Jones and Palaconda were there. Jones makes the reception, makes 1 man miss, and gets it inside about the 5-yard line. We'll mark it at the 3, and Heritage Christian for the first time tonight, halfway through the first quarter, threatening with a 1st and goal. 1 man in motion. Here's the quick snap. Quarterback keeper makes 1 man miss, dives for the end zone. Looks to be a bit short, but set up a 2nd down and goal from the 1-yard line as Opper was the man there on the block. But then Antoine pushes it down to right at the goal line. 2nd down and goal coming up here.
Yeah, great play action here, and him just more of an RPO. Mm-hmm. And him diving there. Couldn't quite get the plane. Looks like they're going to mark him down about the 2-yard line. But you're seeing some of this. It's been a little bit surprising. I thought we might see a little bit more pace from the Eagles, but we just haven't seen that at this point with a direct snap here.
And Antoine goes under center, but it looks like a false start, so that'll nullify what they just had on that pickup of about 6 yards. So push them back instead of from the 2-yard line. It'll be 2nd and goal from the 7. You talk about that RPO, college, and you don't really see much in the NFL. But an RPO, how much quarterback trust do you have to be able to see that read and make that decision, either keep it or hand it off to your running back?
Well, I think it's huge. I think it's one, and again, we talked about, Kyle being one that's very cerebral, but you got to pick up those reads and understand, the decision and the discernment in terms of what to do, in terms of the moments.
And I think about when you're down inside the 10-yard line, everything kind of becomes into a box, like you're in a phone booth, and you've got to be able to perform. Here, a little bit of a miscommunication and a throw to the backfield. Valero was the intended target, but it sails out of bounds. So 3rd down and goal. How difficult is it in these goal situations? Because usually you have the entire field to work with, but it kind of messes with your brain, for lack of a better term, when you're kind of in a phone booth inside that 10-yard line.
No, and I think it's one, too, that, if Cecina can get a stop here, I think it's huge momentum builder in terms of the big play, but then also even getting down to the 1 or 2 yard line here. But it's one, again, honing in on your assignment, keeping them underneath, and owning your responsibility.
Antoine from the 6-yard line rolls. He has a man wide open on the out route. Touchdown, Heritage Christian. He finds Dora. And what a play there. A quick little rollout and a touchdown pass. Dora with another reception. Mark it 219 yards on the season. A nice little curl route there to the end zone. Uses that out-of-bounds line a little bit there as a second defender and makes the catch for the touchdown.
No, really great job of reading his defender. had his cornerback, had his back turned, and just planted his feet in the ground, and good timing with the two of them to get the 6 points on the board.
So Heritage Christian strikes first. Here's the extra point. Up and floats through with 4:45 remaining in the first quarter here on Indiana SRN. It is the Heritage Christian Eagles striking first. 7-0 lead over Cecina. We'll be back right after this on Indiana SRN. We're back at Beech Grove High School where Heritage Christian strikes first on Indiana SRN to take the 7-0 advantage. Let's take a look at the touchdown after this kickoff, but I'm telling you what, after that first drive kind of stalled out, nice to go the length of the field there after a defensive stop to get the touchdown if you're Heritage Christian.
No, it is, and I mean it becomes about answering each other. Both of them answered the call to each other in terms of the defense, getting a notch under their belt on both sides, and now Heritage getting up 7-0 with an offensive touchdown. See how the Crusaders respond.
Tony Donahue, Craig Cox here from Beech Grove High School. Here is the boot. It'll be fielded at the 5-yard line, and he will be stormed down, pushed out at the 10. So it'll be a long way to go for Cecina. Let's go back to this touchdown. A quick out route to the end zone. He was wide open once he found him. He was looking at him the whole way, and touchdown Dora.
Yeah, great job again. All of that is right there is just continuity and timing is the big part of that. So great job by Christian in not only running the route but corralling the catch.
So we'll see if Cecina has an answer here after going 3 and out and punting the football on their first possession. Quick substitution here. 3 men in the backfield for Scecina Memorial. 3-0 in conference, 4-0 overall in the season, and it looks like we will have a timeout. Cecina. We will take a break here as Heritage Christian leads 7-0 on Indiana SRN.
We encourage you to follow us on Twitter at IndianaSRN. Find upcoming games, video highlights, and much more. Follow us now at IndianaSRN.
Welcome back to Beech Grove High School as Heritage Christian leads 7-0 over Cecina. We just kind of talked about it in the break here, Craig. When you come out of a kickoff like that and need a timeout because your offense isn't set, time to reset and say, look, we've got 90 yards to go. It seems to be an uphill battle, but let's just get into our rhythm and keep moving these chains.
No, I mean, it's a big part of the momentum builder in terms of getting your offense on both sides of the ball working.
Quick handoff here, finds a little bit of space as Fitzsimmons. Nice little gain there on first down. Telemetry Sports. For more than 6 years, Telemetry Sports has been working with the NFL and multiple college football teams as a data and technology provider. Player speeds and accelerations that they are providing us in generated using computer vision, the same technology as autonomous vehicles. As you watch these players, keep in mind that over 18 miles per hour is very fast and impressive for a high school or college athlete. I could definitely not run 18 miles per hour. Second down here, quick handoff. Fitzsimmons makes one man miss, but he is up at about the 20-yard line, so that'll be very close as it'll be second down here after moving the chains on first down with just under 4 minutes to go in the first quarter.
Yeah, this again, they're looking to really get their ground game implemented. They can still hit you with a little bit with Barry Alton Woods on the outside, but again, they're more of a run-dominant team, and even with Mendez as well.
Craig Cox, Tony Donahue here, and it looks like we will have another timeout from Cecina. It'll be a quick one. Sorry, it's an official's timeout. You know, what maybe isn't talked about here, Craig, is Cecina's defense has been on the football field for a very long time as they gain about 4 yards here on first down. How important is it for the offense to return the favor and say, we're going to go on a quick drive or a very long drive. We got 90 yards to go. Let's go for a long drive to give our defense that rest that they need because they've been on their toes here in this first quarter.
Well, it's huge. We talked about it a minute ago how both teams answered each other defensively. Now it's time for each team to answer offensively, and Heritage did that with their second series, and Crusaders are in theirs now, so I think it's important for them to find that balance and be able to answer back, letting the Eagles know that, hey, we're here to stay.
So Ray checks out. Martin checks in. Martin with no receptions on the season, but he is their kick return man. We'll see if he's maybe playing decoy here. Quick handoff gets nowhere. A lot of Eagles there on the tackle to eliminate any kind of gain there. So it is going to be a long first down pickup here if Cecina is going to convert. So 2 in the backfield, 3 wide receivers set for Cecina. They trail 7-0. 2:26 left in the first quarter. IndianaSRN.org. Out of shotgun. 3-step drop. Under pressure. He'll scramble to the left side. Tries to make one man miss. Makes 2 guys miss. And gets it past the 30-yard line. So not much going there for Cecina, but a great job by Mendez for at least picking up a few positive yards. That'll set up a 3rd down and long, however.
Yeah, I mean, getting himself back to the line of scrimmage was big there because that could have easily been about a 7-8 yard loss. So really good job of David making some things happen with his feet and fighting back as we got 3rd and 5 here.
So 3rd down and 5 from the 30-yard line. 1 first down already picked up on this drive for Cecina. Out of shotgun comes Mendez. Rolls to his left, stops, fires across the middle. What a snag at the 50-yard line and a pickup for the first down for Cecina. What a play there by Burial, a guy you've talked about. We haven't said his name here in the first quarter, but he gets it across the 50-yard line there, enough for the first down.
Yeah, I talked about earlier. He's an all-state selection, preseason all-state selection at the defensive back position, but here he's showing on the offensive side how he's a dual-threat player. And so Mason's a great weapon here for Mendez, as we showed it here with about a 20-yard pickup.
So the biggest play of the game on either side goes for about 22 yards, and out of shotgun comes Cecina on 1st and 10 from the 50. Another rollout to the left side. Mendez looks, steps up. He's going to fire deep, has a man, but he just stepped into the throw a little bit too much. But I love the play calling there to go for it on first down, make a big play downfield.
Yeah, you like to stretch your corners and really test the defense and get some things more vertical. It's really one of those things, as he got out of the pocket, he still had a little bit more time to wait to make that pass. It would allow his receiver there to be able to run under that a little bit better.
Craig, the only thing to me that looked a little bit uncomfortable there is throwing across his body. Is that because that's where his best wide receiver is, or would you like to see those plays downfield, him kind of going in one direction towards his wide receiver instead of throwing it across his body?
Well, or in that case where he has some time to be able to plant his feet. But it is tough. It's tough for any quarterback of any level to throw across his body.
2nd down from the 50. Fitzsimmons spins out of a tackle, finds the 46-yard line, spins out of another one, and they will mark him forward progress at the 46. We'll mark it a gain of 4. 3rd down and 6 coming up here with just 43 seconds remaining in the first quarter for Cecina. A big 3rd and 6 here. I'm not sure this is 4-down territory, but you have a big decision coming up here if you don't convert on 3rd and 7.
You do, and as much as they're looking to get outside, as we've seen some of that with 2 or 3 passes they've thrown, so don't be surprised if they might try to work something over the middle of the field here.
4 wide receivers set, 3 to Mendez's left, 1 to his right, and 1-on-1 coverage. He will take the shotgun snap. 3rd and 7, looks, looks under pressure, looks downfield, has a man, and it is complete to about the 24-yard line. A great pitch and catch there, enough for the first down and more. That is the junior Ray for his 8th reception of the season.
No, really good work there. And again, the nice thing that you see here as we get the replay, great job. He's getting a little flushed out of the pocket. Great things, trying to make some things happen. Off the run here. Difference is he's not throwing across his body. He's throwing with it. Little much easier pass to be able to make, but hit his receiver in stride.
So Ray on the rub route, enough for a first down. We've reached the end of the first quarter. Heritage Christian leads Cecina 7-0 on IndianaSRN.
From warehousing to transportation and everything in between, Piper Logistics does it all. Centrally located, Piper Logistics has 2 warehouses in Indianapolis and a warehouse in Cincinnati, Ohio. Piper Logistics houses over 1 million square feet. Along with our transportation department, we can provide service to half the United States markets.
Can't get to a computer? Then we've got you covered.
At number 60, offensive tackle and kicker, Dave Hart. Ladies and gentlemen, please recognize and thank these men for joining us tonight for their gold anniversary homecoming game and for helping to make Cecina football very proud of its addiction-rich program.
A lot of no scores. This was what, Jerry? 50 year, you said? Keith, you're almost there. 15. 41.
Back from Beech Grove High School, Cecina now inside the 25-yard line. We'll mark it at the 21-yard line to start the second quarter. Mendez under pressure. He will escape out of it and take it down to about the 15-yard line as we start the second quarter here. Heritage Christian leading 7-0. Some awesome 50-year awards going on homecoming for Cecina. The Crusaders honoring some great players from the past. Tony Donahue, Craig Cox here. Second down, a quick handoff to the right side. Gets the edge, makes another man miss, and tackled out of bounds at about the 8-yard line for Fitzsimmons on the carry. I think we'll see a heavy dose of him here inside of the red zone.
Yeah, and you're starting to see a little bit more balance that Cecina is showing through this drive. The previous play to that one where you saw Fitz Ramsey run was Mendez dropping back, reading his first option, wasn't there. Second option was covered. Just now thinking about getting positive yards, and was able to get 8, and then Fitz Ramsey there picking up the first down.
Fitz Ramsey in the backfield. Mendez comes under center. Fitz Ramsey gets it. He'll hold on to it to about the 4-yard line on forward progress, and he will be pushed back for a second down and goal coming up. Serenity Home Care. Serenity Cares Services, an Indiana licensed personal agency and Medicaid waiver service provider in central Indiana. We are the friendly, competent, experienced team of caregivers you have been seeking. Contact us today at serenitycareservices.net. Second down and goal. Coach, I see no reason to put this football in the air.
No, I mean, not with this space, too, and there's the way that they're lined up here.
Fitzsimmons in the backfield. He will get the handoff. He will keep his feet churning, and he will be pushed to the turf at about the 1-yard line. So a third and goal coming up here. Coach Cox, we talk about momentum shifting plays. This is one coming up here, maybe over the next 2 downs, that could really certainly shape the momentum of this first half.
No, it is. I mean, it's a way for Cecina to be able to answer Heritage, but you are going to expect a heavy dose, as you just saw, of the power game.
Quarterback keeper for Mendez gets stopped on his initial push. And looking for the marking here, it'll be a touchdown on the quarterback keeper. So a 90-yard drive for the Crusaders of Scecina ends in a quarterback sneak for the touchdown. Quick hurry up there, take it, lower your shoulder, and get in the end zone.
Well, much power game, but what a great way to be able to answer Heritage's score. Again, as we talked about earlier, to say, hey, both these teams are here to stay for a dogfight here tonight.
So the extra point attempt coming to tie it here on IndianaSRN from Beech Grove High School. Cecina goes 90 yards for the touchdown. Extra point is down, up, and it is good. 7-7 your score here on IndianaSRN.
From warehousing to transportation and everything in between, Piper Logistics does it all. Centrally located, Piper Logistics has 2 warehouses in Indianapolis and a warehouse in Cincinnati, Ohio. Piper Logistics houses over 1 million square feet. Along with our transportation department, we can provide service to half the United States markets.
Can't get to a computer? Then we've got you covered. Just go to the IndianaSRN app and stay up to date with all of your favorite teams. You can watch live coverage or relive the experience with our on-demand service.
We're back from Beech Grove High School. A very long 90-plus yard drive for Cecina. They answer it to tie it at 7-7 against Heritage Christian here on IndianaSRN. Don't forget to head to the App Store. Download the IndianaSRN app to stay up to date with all of your favorite high schools here locally in Indianapolis and around the state of Indiana. Here's the kick. It is fielded at the 10 and fumbled. He'll pick it up from the 1, gets past the 5-yard line, and he is going to be tackled down at the 7-yard line. Coach Cox, that's one of those things, man, where you just got to let the thing fly over your head and hope it ends up in a touchback.
Yeah, and I think that's what he might have been trying to do. And once he was in a position to see that it wasn't going to be there, he had no choice then to pick it up and try to get some positive yards. But Crusaders has them pinned down inside the 10 here. So once again, as each of them answered the first series, each of them answered each other in the second, and now here we start both respective teams on the third series and see what takes place.
Over a 5.5-minute drive for Cecina gave their defense a well-needed rest after giving up that touchdown drive early in the first quarter. 7-7 your score here from Beech Grove High School. Heritage Christian, their third possession of the game out of shotgun, quick handoff. That'll go to the up back, and he will be stopped right at the line of scrimmage, maybe mark it for a gain of 1.
Yeah, and great job of push with the D-line there, of taking away the gap and leaving Opper to just a very minimal game.
And we haven't talked about guys like Weimer on that defensive end for Cecina. Also Young, who has 24 tackles on the season. Burial, who's also a great offensive player, he has 40 tackles here on the early season as well. So we talk about Cecina and be able to move that football with the rushing game. Their defense is also very stout. Out of shotgun, quick pass down the middle, plenty of time, and he airs it out to about the 50-yard line, and this will fall about 20 yards shy, or 20 yards past the intended receiver. So all of a sudden here, quickly, a third down and long for Heritage Christian.
Yeah, and it's one, too, where, you saw Kyle going through his progressions. That was actually his third read there, even though he overthrew him. But great presence there to understand that 1 and 2 were covered, going through his progressions in the pocket.
How hard is that to teach at the high school level? I was at the Notre Dame game on Saturday, and it seems like Notre Dame's quarterback, always look for that first read. If you can get that down in your high school level, how important is that for your college level as a quick rollout here goes out of bounds, and that'll set up a 4th down and punt situation here for Heritage Christian?
Well, it's big. I mean, certainly for those kids to get the opportunity to play to the next level, I think it's something that when you're in a position where you can make those reads, it's always tough, for your guys in the trenches on the O-line. They love the run blocking. The pass blocking, takes a little bit more out of them in being able to hold that. So, you got your time is much shorter. It's typically about 2 to 2.5 seconds to make those reads at the highest level in the NFL. You might sometimes have a little bit more than that, right around 3, just to share over that at the collegiate level. But, yeah, I mean, it's something that I think plays big into kids' opportunities going to the next level.
The punt from the goal line, fielded at about the 40-yard line, on the run, down to the 20, down to the 10, 5. Is he in? He fumbles it. We will see what I think he's down at the 1 is going to be the marking there. So on the run, Barrialt with a great field of the punt, breaks about 3 tackles and gets it down to the 1-yard line. But for Cecina, deja vu from that Speedway game a few weeks ago where they were in for the touchdown and he fumbled it into the end zone for a touchback. Luckily for him, because that ball was fumbled, luckily for him, marked down at the 1-yard line. So Cecina looking to punch it in here from the goal line. Already 7 points on the board, but this could be 14 quick unanswered points.
Well, and it makes it a lot easier. And I probably shouldn't say easier, but much more advantageous situation, I guess we should say, for the offense when you can have your special teams give you the positive yards like this to set you up for potentially the go-ahead score.
Mendez has it, I formation, takes the snap. It looks like the ball was fumbled. It was. It is recovered in the end zone by Heritage Christian. We will see what the call on the play was. Was his momentum stopped? The referee signaling for a touchback. It will be a touchback. Heritage Christian with a massive stop here on 1st and goal to get the fumble and the recovery.
You're in a position there where you get such a positive play, as I was just stating, from your special teams to have your offense set up for 1 yard, and then it turns around. And, Tony, you just talked about how the week before they fumbled in the end zone for a touchback, and then on the first play they fumble in the end zone and give it right back. So I guess both these teams are answering every possession in a way where you had D-stops, then you had scores, and now you have special teams with a fumble on the offensive side to give it back to Heritage.
So Heritage Christian will take over from the 20-yard line. We will hope to get a replay there of that. It looked like the snap might have been bobbled from Mendez and then pushed forward into the end zone. Nonetheless, a huge play for the defense of Heritage Christian. They'll start 1st down at the screen. Collected, pushed down to about the 29-yard line, just short of the 1st down. Valero with the catch and down to about the 29, so a 1st down gain of about 9 for 2nd down and 1. But, Coach, we talk about momentum-changing plays in high school football. That certainly could change the momentum of this football game.
Well, it is. And you got to stay patient. You got to stay poised because you never know what happened. You can't dwell too much on the last play, the last possession. You got to stay in the moment and what's in front of you.
So a 2nd down and 1, man in motion. Here is the handoff on a little bit of a misdirection. Well enough for the 1st down. Pushes it past the 35-yard line to the 36-yard line. Opper on the carry for a 1st down. If you're Heritage Christian, how much importance is there in a tie football game? You were looking at going down 7. Now to go on a long drive here with just 7:45 left in the 1st half.
Well, it's huge, and especially if they can turn this into points. You're talking about a 14-point swing where you were 7 down, and you could potentially here in a few minutes be 7 up.
And we talked about this in the outset, how close of a game we expected this to be. 2 teams that have expectations to make sectional and regional and deeper runs into the playoffs. 1st down, shotgun snap, hand off to the left side, doesn't get the edge. Opper down for about a gain of 1, so set up a 2nd down and 9 coming up here for the Eagles of Heritage Christian.
Well, what a great job there by Adam Young, the D tackle, of seeing that gap. And really, what I love to see about that is he led with the shoulder and wrapped with his arms with great tackling technique to minimize the gain here of actually no yards gained.
So they'll mark it just shy of the line of scrimmage. Out of shotgun, they will look to pass. Heritage downfield. It is a lob of a pass. He has a man, but it is deflected and batted out of the air by Cecina. That was Walker to get a paw up there. And sometimes, Coach, on defense, when you can't make the interception, it is equally as important to get a paw up and bounce that ball out of the receiver's hands.
No, it is. I mean, did a great job there getting vertical, had his guy beat. Kyle probably had a little bit more air under it than what he would have liked or even needed to.
Yes.
But at the same time was trying to allow his receiver to run under it. But I think he had the DB beat. But great job by Walker there of closing that play and being able to knock it down.
Craig Cox, Tony Donahue here, Beech Grove High School, 7-7 Heritage Christian and Cecina. Big 3rd and 10. Throw to the left side, and it is overthrown. So the momentum that was stolen by Heritage Christian on the first and goal fumble winds up with about 35 yards on the possession, but they will be forced to punt here, and plenty of time for Cecina with 6:46 left in the first half to get a good drive going here on the offensive side of the football.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it's one that really would have played, great things into what they do in trying to get that turnover. And you always want them whenever you get those. The margins are slim. So when you get opportunities to get off turnovers, you want to be able to turn those into points, but didn't quite get it done here. So great job by Scecina in terms of holding it as Antoine gets his kick underway.
Antoine takes one step, boots that thing. It is bounced at the 35, fielded at the 20. He will make two guys miss, gets a block past the 30 to the 36-yard line. So what turns out to be a really good decision there to field the punt at about the 25-yard line. He pushes it forward to about the 36.
Well, one of those things that coaches on the sideline, because Mason at that point was pretty much declaring he wasn't going to take that. But then it took a couple good bounces and popped up, and it's one of those situations on the sideline, you're like, no. But when he takes it and turns it into a positive, about a 15-yard return there, then it's like a quick mind shift saying, yeah.
And when you have a guy like Burial, who is a senior, he's a leader on this football team, and he's a great decision maker, your initial reaction is no, but then you realize who it is, and that guy makes plays for you.
Yeah.
So 1st and 10 coming up here from the 36-yard line for Cecina. Their last drive stalled out at the 1-yard line after a significant punt return down to the goal line. Here's the quick handoff. That is going to be spun down to about the 40-yard line. So Fitz Ramsey pushes it forward for about 5 yards, set up a 2nd down and about 5.
Yeah, the good thing is that that you have with Fitz Ramsey is a lot of times he's getting what we refer to as the yaks, the yards after contact. So he's met about 1-2 yards in, and he's still carrying and doing some things with his feet to still falling forward and get more positive yards.
So a 3 wide receiver set here on 2nd down and 6. One man in motion. Here's the snap. Mendez will hand it off. There is a flag on the play. Probably going to be an illegal motion here. But he spins forward, makes 3 guys miss. He's at the 30 to the 25-yard line. Mark him down at the 23. Yeah. But more than likely, Craig, this one's coming back.
Yeah, whenever it's thrown at the line of scrimmage, I mean, it's a 36-yard gain. A great job that he's doing there. But this will certainly come back, and you can see it even from the Cecina sideline as well. But anytime it's thrown at the line of scrimmage or behind, 95% of the time, it's going to be a hold.
So the 3rd penalty here coming up on Cecina. It'll be an illegal shift. It looks like that guy was in motion and didn't necessarily get to where he needed to go. But kudos to the refs here in high school football, going to the kid and saying, hey, here's what you did wrong. So moving forward, you learn and you possibly don't make that mistake again.
Great sign of officiating there to be able to do that, to explain whether it was the young student athlete asking or whether it was the official letting him know. You love to see that.
And this officiating crew, they've got plenty of experience. They've done state championships in the past. And above all, in high school football, as you know, Craig, it's about learning, it's about life, and it's about discipline, and that's great. Kudos to the officials here tonight. Quick fumble here on the snap, and it is going to be recovered, thankfully, for the Crusaders by Cecina. But this is the 2nd snap over the last 5 that's been fumbled. This time doesn't cost them more than a couple yards.
Yeah, I mean, I thought we were watching the Colts game with Kelly and Ryan.
No, don't do that to me.
But no, and the thing is, for a minute there, I thought that it was going to be Crusaders getting a free play because I thought that they missed Jackson, the nose guard, actually jumping off sides there. But it didn't happen, and it was, in fact, a fumble.
So an illegal shift and now a fumble sets up a 3rd down and 11. Mendez will roll out under pressure. He has 2 guys. He'll fire it to the left side, and there he is, Burial with the snag at the 50. yards after the catch, mark it 19 down to the 31-yard line, and there's your senior leader on a big 3rd down and 14, stepping up to make the catch.
I'll tell you, it's been the Barry Alt show. I mean, from a standpoint of that being his second catch for 20-plus yards, and then you talk about the return that came back that he had there before they fumbled, and now this catch here.
If you're on hurdle here, how much are you looking at the clock as well with just 4:30 to go? Obviously, it would be great to drive down, score, and not give Heritage Christian a lot of time. Are you looking at the clock here in a situation, or do you wait till it's about 2 minutes?
Yeah, no, I don't think it is. It's way too early now. I'd look for Mendez not only off the pass, but to get him out of the pocket as they're doing here.
Great protection. Mendez
happen.
looks deep. He's got a man. Oh, my goodness. He had 1 foot in and the catch. Let's see what the mark is. He is going to be out of bounds. But what an effort. What a throw there from Cecina. But just comes inches away from that being a touchdown pass. And Ray was right there. My goodness, Coach, that looks super close.
Well, and great job. You know, you really don't see that type of foot control, and we are. Here's the replay, and you see Mendez. I was thinking about getting him out of the pocket, make some things happen with his feet. This ball sailed for quite a while.
And he had burial. He took a huge
look
hit.
At this. Great job with the footwork.
I mean, that's a D2, D1 type throw right there, despite the fact that it was out of bounds and gone incomplete. Cecina will take a timeout here, but my goodness, he scrambles, takes the hit. It looks like the clock is still running. We will get that worked on here. But despite the fact that that was ruled incomplete, so much to digest there with Mendez staying in the pocket, creating some time, taking the hit, throwing it downfield, and really putting it to where only his wide receiver could catch it.
No, great point. And I think it's one that, you had your receiver and Walker making a great attempt for that, and good body control.
Yes.
You know, although it ended up playing into their favor, but great job of the footwork and his balance and, trying to sell that as much as he did. But great pocket presence, and to be able to get out and make that play that Mendez did put him in a good position.
So if you're on hurl here, how do you play this? Because you've kind of got them on the ropes with your passing game, but you also need to keep in mind it is 2nd down and 10 with just over 4 minutes to go here in the first half.
Well, I still think that you're going to be in a position. I mean, Fitz Ramsey has been doing a great job of getting some positive plays. If you're not putting him on the run, I'm looking at trying to get Barry Alt or even Woods available in the flats, not so much down the field.
So here's a shotgun snap. It will be a run. Heritage Christian all over this one. So all of a sudden, 3rd down and long coming up here with under 4 minutes to go.
A great job by the front three there to be able to make the push that they did on the O-line to get in the backfield for a loss.
And if you're Coach Hurley here, is this 4-down territory again? I mean, you're thinking about taking that momentum into the locker room with you, knowing that you get the football on the other side of the second half.
Yeah, absolutely. I think anytime, again, you're inside the 40 and they're almost at the 30. So look for Mendez to get out of the pocket here if he doesn't have something open early.
So he's got Barrel on his slide. He's wide open. He'll look for him. Wide open catch at the 15-yard line, and it is Barry Alt again, the old reliable there for the first down. Move those chains for Cecina.
Yeah, and give him 15 more. Great job there of finding his man. Didn't have to get out of the pocket as we see the replay. Had him open early right down the seam and let him have it. Make it about 18.
54 yards on the air for Barry Alt here. First down and 10 with under 3 minutes to go. Cecina's been here before. The last time it was at the goal, a fumble gave that football back to Heritage Christian, but a huge statement here coming up for Cecina if they can punch this in for 6.
Well, I'll be surprised. You'll see not pass and probably a run here.
Mendez, quarterback keeper, to the right, cuts to the left, keeps those feet going. He will be tackled down, but a great gain there on first down to mark it at the 4-yard line.
Yeah, about 12 down there, and in a position here where they're running the clock, and in a lot of ways with Cecina, can't run quick enough with a new set of downs being inside the 5. They love where they're sitting at right now, especially after what a great response back to after the fumble on the 1-yard line with the last possession.
And it looks like we will have a timeout here from Cecina as they will set up for first down and goal from about the 4-yard line with 2:16 left here on IndianaSRN. Cecina and Heritage Christian tied up at 7. Tam Sweet and Savory Cafe, a great atmosphere for breakfast or brunch, open Wednesday through Sunday from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. Tammy and her staff would love to wait and serve on you and your family. Try the biscuits and gravy or the quiche. Coach recommends the BLT. If you need a good food reference, Coach always has you covered. Tam's located at 6427 Oak Landing Road in Indy. All right, Coach Cox, you've been down here before. You don't want to fumble the football first and foremost, but as you just mentioned, I don't see this football going through the air over the next 4 downs.
No, I don't either. And obviously, it's always ball security, regardless of what has happened in your previous possessions when they did fumble one. But any time that you get, certainly in the red zone, and after one you just had last series, you certainly it's playing a lot more in the front part of your presence in terms of protecting that ball.
Inside the red zone here, brought to you by Bertner Electric, serving greater Indianapolis and the surrounding counties. I formation here for Mendez under center. Takes the snap, he will look, he will hand it off, makes one man miss, and into the end zone goes Fitz Ramsey, and Cecina takes the lead 13-7.
Yeah, great jump cut, as you'll see with this in terms of hitting to the outside and jumped, made his jump cut back to the inside to punch that in. So great response, though, after their last possession.
7th touchdown run on the season for Fitz Ramsey. Makes it a 13-7 contest here from Beech Grove High School on Cecina's homecoming night. The extra point pending to go up by a touchdown and a extra point. Snap, and we have a false start, it looks like, as it goes to the uprights. It'll be it'll be offside, so set it up closer. And do you go for 2 here as you kind of move it a little bit closer and you really send that statement going into halftime?
In some ways, yes, but I don't expect Hurley to do this.
Too early to go for points?
I think
I'm all about points.
I like
Keith Myers and I are all about points and playing Madden out here.
Yeah.
But that's why we're not on the sidelines right now.
Yeah, I think you got old school coach in Hurley. He's staying with the 1.
So Hurley will go for it even though it'll move it in here. Actually, the penalty is declined, but they will kick it again. You decline that penalty just because you don't want to take your kicker off a rhythm for what he's practiced for these extra points. Snap down at the 10. Kick is up, and it is good. Just like that with 2:11 to go here on IndianaSRN. Cecina takes the lead over Heritage Christian, 14-7. We'll be back right after this.
Needing to hire someone to take care of your loved one when you're away? Maybe your family member just needs someone to talk to when you're not around. Why not contact Indiana licensed Serenity Care Services? Call Angela, owner of Serenity Care Services, at 317-900-6202. Our team of trained and experienced personal care providers are licensed to serve seniors requiring companion care and light housekeeping services in Indianapolis and its 5 surrounding counties. Call us today at 317-900-6202. Now hiring qualified applicants.
We're back here from Beech Grove High School, Cecina's homecoming contest, where they welcome in Heritage Christian, IndianaSRN.org. Tony Donahue, Craig Cox. Cecina 14-7. You talk about they should have went in for the go-ahead score before that possession, but 14-7 here. Now very important for their defense to hold for this 2:11 remaining in the first half.
It is, and 2 minutes is a lot of time, especially when you have a lot of great offensive balance like Heritage has. So they're not out the door yet. Cecina's going to have to stick tight and hold them. But I mean, but you hope that things start to click a little bit more. Coach Ray talked about earlier this week is, a big key to them in this game was going to be able to identify with their good offensive balance. Really haven't been able to do that just yet, where it's been more with the run than it has been with the pass. And so we'll see if they can find that here with just over 2 minutes to go and with 2 timeouts as well.
Craig, how important is this first down play? I think it dictates what you do. If you run the football and you only get 2 yards, you're probably just going to play conservative. But you certainly don't want to punt it back to Cecina with over a minute 30 or so left.
No, and I think positive yards on first down is huge. We talked about earlier, anything +4 is very positive, and I'd like to see Antoine to get out of the pocket a little bit more.
And he will. He'll roll out, quick screen pass, and it is going to be ruled dead.
Might be a shift or
and
false
a false start
yep.
here. So certainly not how you want to start the drive here for Heritage Christian. you get pushed back now inside the 15-yard line.
Well, as things, it's about moving forward, not backwards. But again, they'll need to put themselves in a position, I think, again, to get Antoine potentially outside of the pocket. He's such a dual threat quarterback, and he throws such a good ball. I think getting him out of the pocket to let him make decisions, and if he doesn't have anything, as opposed to being in the pocket, he's more apt to make some things happen on the edges.
Tonight's broadcast here on IndianaSRN.org is brought to you by IU Sports Management. Begin your journey. Jack's Donuts as well. 1st and 15 coming up here. 2:11 to go before we get halftime. We've got a great halftime show coming up for you. Craig Cox and I will look back at the first half. We'll give you some other scores from around the state of Indiana. He's hit as he throws. That disrupted the timing as he had a wide receiver to the left side there. That was number 11 being Bonds, but just couldn't get it to him there under pressure.
Well, and again, Peters is such a big target as well. He's 6'4", 6'5". Thing about it was the front three there of Crusaders put some great pressure and made the hit on Antoine as soon as he was throwing that ball.
So 2nd down and 15, 2:06. So you've only knocked off 4 seconds off of this clock here on this drive. Quick screen passes, batted down, and a great play there by the defense of Cecina. Reading the route and smacking it down was the freshman Romo there. So a 3rd and 15 coming up here. I think you got to put pressure on the quarterback and hope to get that football back.
Yeah, and I think Cecina's feeling really good about not only 3rd and 15, but you're thinking about, hey, how can Heritage move this with a lot of time left with 2 timeouts, but they've only taken like 7 seconds off the clock. So, I mean, Cecina's in a position now where not only could they have a lot of clock to work with stop here, but probably some great field position at that.
So 3rd and long, 5 wide receivers set. Antoine under pressure, and he is stuffed in the backfield. That is a sack for Scecina, just what they needed, and it's Young with another sack on the year. That is his 5th solo tackle on the season and his 4th and a half sack. Are you taking a timeout here if you're Cecina? I think you do.
I think they just did.
And they'll get the football back here with about 1:40, and we saw what they did with the last punt. 1:50 left here in the first half. IndianaSRN Cecina leads 14-7. We'll be back right after this.
We encourage you to subscribe to our YouTube channel, IndianaSRN. Hit the bell to get notifications for upcoming games and more. Watch as many games as you want, as many times as you want.
Never miss an upcoming game. Don't forget to check out IndianaSRN.org. Follow us across all of our social media channels here. Back deep in the end zone is Antoine for the punt. He will get it off quickly. Sky-high punt. It'll land right at about the 35-yard line, take a Heritage Christian bounce to the 40. To the 41 is where we will mark it, and that's where Scecina will take over. No timeouts, but 1:39 to go. How important is it here for Cecina's offense to work those sidelines?
Well, I think a big part of it is this is what we were talking with Antoine, is the same with Mendez. These are 2 crafty quarterbacks that can do some great things out of the pocket. And so I really look for, again, to get Mendez outside of that. You think in that type of situation to trying to get more, Fitz Ramsey, if you're running with him, although he can make some positive things happen with his feet, it's also going to kill a lot of the clock.
Is the delayed handoff, the delayed draw here on the table for first down?
No, absolutely, and certainly early on with still 1:39, probably not so much inside, 30, 45 seconds, but certainly at this point with the clock, yes.
So Mendez and the Cecina offense, who has been inside of the 1-yard line on back-to-back possessions, have only made a touchdown out of that. Looks like we have a penalty. Didn't see exactly what the penalty was, but nonetheless, Cecina will take over from about the 36-yard line. They reset the ball. So it'll be from the 36, where we thought it would be at about the 41. So a quick 5-yard gain there, if you want to look at it that way, with with Barriall here in the slot, he's certainly going to be somebody to look at here if you're Mendez out of shotgun.
And such a big thing for Heritage to get a stop here and don't let them get back-to-back
Steps
scores.
up in the pocket. Mendez fires it. He was hit, and the Barriall will come back to it. Looked like he was hit. That might have batted the throw down a little bit. So 2nd down and 10 coming up here with 1:32 to go.
Yeah, and the Eagles were able to dodge that because Barriall almost made that catch here right at the 10-yard line. But, again, I think it's very important, for the Eagles to kind of stop a little bit of this rush in terms of them scoring potentially what could be back-to-back scores and going up 2 scores here at half. So Eagles got to stand strong here and be able to keep everything underneath them because you're thinking it's going to be a heavy dose of pass.
Out of shotgun, 2nd down, rolling out. He's going to step up into the pocket. Mendez will keep it himself. He's got plenty of space. Down to the 20, gets the 1st down and more. He's at the 10. He's at the 7-yard line, and that's where he will be stopped with 1:22 to go here. They will go hurry up, but Cecina looking to go up 2 touchdowns here with that big play by Mendez on the quarterback draw.
And I don't think they need to be in a big hurry up right now. You got tons of time. You're inside the 10, new set of downs here. Just kind of get composed and get set here.
Mendez, a cross-body throw, and it is going to be incomplete. So a 2nd down and 10 here. Really no need to hurry, as you mentioned there. Now it's time to regroup and probably keep that football on the ground.
Yeah, I mean, and that's what it did. It rushed them into a play where nobody was really set in a lot of ways. And I think if you're at a position where you're inside 30 seconds, I think you do that. But, when you have minute 15, minute 17 and doing that, I just don't think in that case it's needed, and it's almost like a wasted play. And again, you got a very slim margin in terms of not only the amount of downs that you have, but also the time that you have to work with.
So substitution here for Heritage Christian. Backs against the wall. 2nd time now inside of the 10-yard line for Cecina. First ended up in a turnover on a fumble. The second, obviously, a quick touchdown score. And Cecina looking to go up by 2 scores here before halftime. 2nd down and goal. Mendez in the backfield. Fitz-Ramsey to his left. 3 wide receivers set. It'll be Fitz-Ramsey with the handoff. Breaks 2 tackles into the end zone for a touchdown. His 2nd of the night. Fitz-Ramsey puts the Cecina Crusaders up 20-7 here on homecoming night.
Well, great job there in the offset. Probably expecting pass. Probably a late handoff draw, as you mentioned earlier, Tony. Great job here of Fitz-Ramsey being able to take that in. And what has now turned into a position of being able to go up 2 scores here.
And you think about in the last minute and 4 seconds, Heritage Christian has gotten the football with a chance to drive down to get the tying score. They are forced to punt it, and just like that, it doesn't take long for Cecina to answer. The kick is up, and it is blocked by Heritage Christian in the backfield. So that'll mark it 20-7. The Cecina Crusaders are leading. We can talk about this at halftime too, Craig, but momentum is there. But if you're Heritage Christian, I think the message in the locker room, it has to be make somebody else besides Barriall and Fitzsimmons beat us.
No, absolutely. I think it's the ones to understand who they have to corral, how they have to own the assignments. A big part of them was stopping the run. But, a thing that has really hurt them is outside of Barriall's big return, which turned into nothing because they ended up fumbling, has really been more of the passing game. With 3 of those to Barriall and setting those up for the short runs that they have for scores.
So if you're Kyle Ray here, 1:06 on the clock, you do have 2 timeouts, but your last 3 possessions have stalled out within 4 to 5 plays. Do you take that conservative approach and just take the knee into the locker room and be content going down 13?
Well, I think a lot of it will be really dictated by how well the return is.
Yes.
We haven't talked a lot about that, but the last 3 starting positions of the Eagles has been inside the 20-yard line. So they haven't had very good field position to be able to start. So I think it starts with a good return here that they haven't been able to get on any of the 3 scores.
We got a basketball preview coming up for you at halftime with our guy, Coach Keith Myers. We'll also take a look back at this first half and give you some stats and other scores from around the area. Here is the quick catch at about the 15-yard line, pushes it forward to the 25. So 75 yards to go to find Painter for Heritage Christian with just under a minute to go, 59.9 seconds with 1st and 10 coming up here. Is this one of those things, again, that's dictated by what you get on first down?
It is. I mean, positive yards. I still would very much, and I've been really surprised that we haven't seen Antoine get outside the pocket more If you can't get the passing game going, he's leading their team in rushing yards.
Yeah.
And keep in mind, their top running back in Jalen Bonds is out with a broken collarbone, and C.J. Opper is a good option for them. But Kyle Antoine can really run the ball.
Opper keeps it here on the handoff, gets to about the 29-yard line out of bounds, and I think at this point you're just content to take this thing into the locker room. Maybe one more play, obviously, before you go, but it looks like they will go to a hurry up here on 2nd and 6. If you have trickery in your book, is this where you use it?
I don't know. Not this deep in your territory, I don't know that I would, especially after Cecina has scored back-to-back.
So Opper on the handoff gets about 5 yards. He'll be stuffed short of the first down marker. So make it 3rd down and 1 coming up here. I think you get this play off quickly. If you don't get it, you let the clock run out.
Yeah, totally agreed.
Under 20 seconds to go here from Beech Grove High School. Cecina, here's the quick quarterback keeper. He'll get enough. Antoine gets it to about the 40-yard line, to about the 46. A quick timeout here for Heritage Christian. What can you do with about 10 seconds left? Maybe a quick out route to get you to about the 35 to set yourself up for a Hail Mary? Do you even have enough time to do that?
Yeah, well, I think that there's enough time. I think, and
Antoine's marked back. Hold on here. Sorry to
might
interrupt.
have a
penalty. Football is being marked back from the initial. So it was a before the play flag here. I didn't see the flag go up.
I didn't either. I didn't see the signal either.
So either a hold or a false start. So I think here when it gets pushed back to about the 29-yard line, you simply take a knee and be content down 13 heading to the locker room.
I wouldn't see anything beyond either that or just a handoff to Opper.
Yeah, so the clock will run here. It is a 1st and 10. 3 seconds ago, they'll take the snap. Quick quarterback keeper, and he will be drugged down at the 30-yard line. So just like that, the first half in the books. A big second quarter here by Scecina. They have a 20-7 lead over Heritage Christian here on IndianaSRN.org. A big first half, big second quarter there, really answering the bell as Heritage Christian went up 7-0. 20 unanswered points for Scecina. They lead it here 20-7 at halftime. Let's take a look back at a quick replay here on the score for Scecina. And again, a lot in your arsenal here, but when you got a guy like Fitz Ramsey who can make guys miss, as we see 1, 2, 3 times here into the end zone, you got to ride your running back there.
No, and I mean, it's one that had them spread out, and they were thinking pass again and just kind of ran a draw up the middle and allowed their running back to do what he does. This is a young man that has 5 touchdowns already on the season coming into this night and 111 per game.
So at halftime, it is Cecina with a 20-7 lead over Heritage Christian as Cecina looks to go 5-0 on the season. A great second quarter there. 20 unanswered points for the Crusaders on homecoming night. They lead at halftime over Heritage Christian 20-7 here on IndianaSRN. Tony Donahue, Craig Cox with us. We'll have Keith Myers coming up at halftime as we look ahead already as we're midway through September to the basketball season. We'll have the pairing show coming up for high school football here with Bob Lovell over the next several weeks as well. We'll take a look back at the first half and more here on IndianaSRN. We want to thank Piper Logistics. From warehouse to transportation, we do it all. Big thanks to Piper Logistics for their support of IndianaSRN high school sports. IndianaSRN On Demand. 20-7, your score at halftime. Cecina leading. Keith Myers has the halftime show and more scores from around the state of Indiana coming up right after this.
Never miss a big game by downloading the IHSAA TV app for free on any device. For your iPhone or Apple TV, check the App Store. On your Android or Android TV device, load up the Google Play Store. Have a Roku or Amazon Fire Stick? We have the app for you. Check us out on Facebook Live, Twitter, or YouTube Live by searching for IHSAA TV. Or as always, click to IHSAATV.org for quick and easy access to your favorite IHSAA live and archived events.
You're good at making big announcements. We're good at your insurance.
Start with Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance, online, over the phone, or in person, and stop knocking on wood.
Want to know what I like best about playing basketball for my high school? I like it because it's a place where my friends get to see me play. I like it because I'm playing for someone besides myself. I'm playing for everybody in my school and every person in my community.
Indiana high school sports. They're more than just a game.
Come and see me play.
You're good at keeping the car clean. We're good at your insurance.
Start with Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance, online, over the phone, or in person, and stop knocking on wood.
Let's take a look at Tournament Sports as Greg Cox, Keith Myers with you here at halftime. This is a new feature that we're doing this year, Craig. And here's one of the things. This is the Chatard Ball game, and how this works very quickly. You can see the speed of the player at 18 miles, 19 miles an hour. Can you run 19 miles an hour? 19.4?
Maybe on well, my age, maybe on a bike.
You give me a Twinkie, I think I could run 19.4. Back at halftime, it's Keith Myers, Craig Cox, and we want to thank our sponsors. But we'll talk a little bit about basketball. I know we're in week 4 in our football and more than halfway through, but basketball season's coming, believe it or not, at the end of October, early November. Over 119 games scheduled on IndianaSRN. Pretty looking forward to our basketball season.
No, I mean, it is. I mean, it just seems like a week or two ago I was talking to a lot of these coaches for the football season in terms of, hey, just tell me about how was your summer, and then here we are now in week 5, and now we're talking basketball. So it's like, hey, who's on third, right?
Yeah. Well, now what happens to us is a lot of basketball coaches are turning their eyes on us and say, okay, here's my schedule. Can you do this game, this game? Oh, by the way, we're going to the Hoosier Gymnasium. We're going to play this at Lucas Oil. We're going to. I mean, the schedule is interesting and very vital and very important because this will be our 6th year doing web TV on high school basketball, our 13th season overall. Pretty excited.
No, and there's great things to be excited about, and certainly thanks to you and Jerry and all you guys do, and just providing opportunities. I think there's a lot of things we talk about in the pandemic and COVID and how much it brought us down, and rightfully so, but there's a lot of great things that came out of that, and I think a lot of that was just what you guys do here at IndianaSRN. And where it really put a lot of people in the confines of their home and weren't able to get out to sports and even having limited people in gyms and fields and things like that. But I think that it's continued to carry on. It's allowed you guys to get your product out there to a lot of people, and it's continued to do that. And I think it's grown in a great way to otherwise where people otherwise wouldn't be able to get to games. They're still able to see it in their living rooms.
You got to keep saying us. You're part of us now, so.
My job's the much easier one.
Yeah, well, it is a little bit easier, but you look at this, and a lot of people say, well, if you got your schedule, no, if you are a coach or an athletic director out there and would like to get some games done, we've had some more schools now increase their budget because you're exactly right. Grandma and Grandpa, who now lives in Florida or California, those for private education, those are donors, and my Grandma and Grandpa loves to see grandson, granddaughter on TV, and we have seen some schools really upped up their schedule because of that.
No, it's a great way that you guys have provided a bridge to not only these families and other programs. I think it's a great way to get those that aren't here local to be able to do that. And you're right. I mean, there's ways that it does help the athletic departments of these respective schools get their brand out there even more as well. So it is crazy to think about that we're halfway through the season and even that much closer to postseason for football, and then the opportunities to continue to do that with basketball. And not to that, there's a lot of our viewers that have been able to see a lot of volleyball games, a lot of soccer games. So it's not just football and basketball.
No, and it's whatever sport you want us to do, we'll do it. I'll work anywhere.
We're going.
I mean, we're in Evansville. So
just bring the BLT with extra mayo, right?
Exactly right. Tams. Yeah, Tammy will love you, the little plug. We're going to take a time out. We'll come back a lot more for you.
Football fans, welcome back to Friday nights, to pure spirits, to pure sports. Welcome back to high school football.
Fans, I'm IHSAA Commissioner Paul Knighty, and I just want to say, welcome back!
This is Friday night. This is Indiana high school football. This is your IHSAA.
When I'm at a Super Bowl and I walk in that stadium at kickoff time and I see that football sitting down there on that field, I get goosebumps because I sewed that football. I am Jane Helser. I recently retired. I started working at Wilson on April 13th, 1966. I was 19 years old. I put an application at Wilson. I got the job, never thinking that I'd be there for 48 years. I enjoyed what I did, so I just stayed.
The Wilson Football Factory here, it's actually like a secret. I was raised about 20 miles from here and never even knew this place was here. We make NFL footballs year-round. We manufactured the ball for every Super Bowl, and every point scored in the NFL since 1941 has been scored with a Wilson football. Jane was the longest tenured employee when she retired.
I would get up at about 3:30 in the morning to be on the job at 5 a.m. I had to oil up my machine every day. I could sew about 150 footballs a day. A football is made from a big piece of leather. It's cut out like a cookie cutter, and that panel is split down to a certain size. They're stamped with a logo, and then there's a lining that's put on it to hold the shape of a ball. When I get the football, it's in 4 panels. There's the top 2 panels. Those 2 are sewed together, leaving the opening. Then I sew the bottom 2 panels together. After the lace holes are punched and the seam are pounded down, then I sew the full section together. The rule of thumb is you don't make a good football sewer until you run a needle through your finger. One time the needle just slid up underneath the foot, stuck in my finger. They put an ice pack on it, took me to the doctor, he cut it out, and I went back to work the rest of the afternoon. I'm tough. The turner gets the nice job of turning it right side out. Then it goes to the lacer, he or she, puts a bladder in it and then laces it. After it goes to the lacer, it's molded. Then the ball is ready to be inspected.
Sewing the football together is probably the most important quality as far as manufacturing. The ball has to have perfect seams, the ends have to line up perfectly, and therefore I think sewing is probably the most critical job in manufacturing the ball. We do not want to change the product in its total, because the most important thing is the integrity of football. So our thing's consistency, make a consistent product that feels the same to the player every time they pick it up.
There's a cold swing. I tell people that I've been to 9 Super Bowls, but I've never been to an Ohio State football game. I've been to Miami twice, Tampa twice, Arizona twice, soon to be the 3rd time, New Orleans and Indianapolis. I'm just a worker that got a job when I was 19 years old and stayed there and was able to try to do the best job I could. And I've been rewarded greatly for it.
ever wanted was to feel loved. He said he loved me. My friends told me it wasn't a big deal. They thought he was so cool, but they didn't know what he wanted me to do.
All I ever wanted was to feel loved. You have no idea the kind of pressure I felt to take things to the next level. Things were moving so fast. I was basically the only person in the freshman class who hadn't done it yet. So we did.
I loved him.
I thought she loved me.
My health class had CPR at school. I stayed after class to talk with the instructor about it. They showed me that it didn't have to be that way.
They showed me that I get to make my own choices.
There is another way.
That's the best thing CPR gives you. Another way. A better way.
A healthy way. Sometimes you don't see it because you're in your own world, but they don't make you feel bad. They talk to you like a real person, and they save kids from really unhealthy decisions. They tell the truth, and they know what they're talking about. So yeah, my life was different. I started to choose the better way.
I honestly don't know where I'd be or what I'd be doing had it not been for CPR.
Becoming a licensed sports official is a great way to make a positive difference in the community and support the over 160,000 Indiana student athletes that participate across 21 IHSAA sports. Sports officiating allows you to stay connected to the game, become a role model for our young student athletes, earn extra money, and support the patrons and communities of our IHSAA member schools. To learn more about becoming a licensed IHSAA official, log on to ihsaa.org/officials today.
Back at Beech Grove High School, where Cecina leads 20-7 over Heritage Christian at halftime on a homecoming night. A little bit of a longer halftime for homecoming, but let's go back here, Craig Cox, and look at one of these touchdowns.
I love this with telemetry here we have from Chittard, and it gives you the mile per hour these guys are running. So this is high-tech stuff, hitting 18 miles an hour. I had a chance last week to work the Chittard Cathedral game. Ended up getting out of hand in terms of what we probably didn't expect in that. It was a running clock the whole second half. Yep. But I'll tell you what, two great quality programs, and what Coach Doyle and Peebles both do with their programs, and what an electric atmosphere they had last week there.
That was brought to you by Telemetry Sports. For more than 6 years, Telemetry Sports has been working with the NFL and multiple college football teams as a data and technology provider. Player speeds and accelerations that are providing us and generated using computer vision, the same technology as autonomous vehicles. As you watch these players and plays as we just did, keep in mind that over 18 miles an hour is very fast and impressive for a high school and college athlete. You were a college athlete at New Mexico. Could you go 18 miles an hour? Because I certainly couldn't.
Well, I think maybe back in the day I did. I was joking with Keith earlier. I said I think the only way that he was going to be running 18 miles an hour is if he saw BLT with extra mayonnaise at the goal line.
Well, I'll tell you this. In my basketball career, it's hard to get up to 18 miles per hour when you're running three-point line to three-point line. So I certainly
not doing that now.
Didn't find. Let's go back to this first half. A lot of momentum shifting plays. Cecina up 20-7 really doesn't tell the story. 20 unanswered after Heritage got on the board first, 7-0. But you have to think Heritage Christian's message in the locker room right now is, let's stop Fitz Ramsey. Let's stop Barry Alt and make somebody else beat us.
Well, and I think the big plays, too. I think the big thing is coming into this game, you had more of Cecina being more one-sided. Mm-hmm. Not to say they can't do anything out of the pass, but they're more of a ground-and-pound, possession-type program in terms of offensively, whereas Heritage has a much better balanced attack. But they just haven't been able to get things going on really any consistency with either the pass or run. And give a lot of credit to the Crusaders defense, but Heritage has to find their fluidity, if you will, in terms of finding that balance. And Coach Ray talked about that earlier in the week as far as the importance of that.
And you talk about Cecina. Probably should be 27 to 7 with the fumble into the end zone. It's the second time this season that they have done this. They'll get the football back here. It seems like to me, go back to your horses and go on another long drive, because 20 points seems a little bit insurmountable here in the second half as compared to maybe Heritage Christian getting a stop and then getting the football back only down 13.
Well, and you think, too, I mean, Cecina is averaging 39 a game. Well, where are they at now? 20, right where they need to be. And then they also are only giving up 5 points a game, and they've given up 7. There's still another whole half to play. So you can't dwell on what the first half shown as much as you can. Try to focus, make the adjustments, which I'm sure both these programs are doing in terms of at halftime, to see who can better execute what the adjustments are here in the second half.
A big second half coming up here as Scecina leads Heritage Christian 20-7 on IndianaSRN.org. Check us out on YouTube. Don't forget to follow us on all of our social media channels as well. We'll be back with second half action coming up right after this.
A career that creates experiences that are impossible to forget. By studying sports and events at IUPUI, you'll get hands-on experience in and out of the classroom. And with Indy as your classroom, there are high-profile events, sports franchises, hotels, museums, and large organizations across the city to engage, educate, and enlighten your student journey before you graduate. There isn't a better city than Indianapolis to get the experience you need to prepare you to handle any event, big or small. It all starts here.
From warehousing to transportation and everything in between, Piper Logistics does it all. Centrally located, Piper Logistics has 2 warehouses in Indianapolis and a warehouse in Cincinnati, Ohio. Piper Logistics houses over 1 million square feet. Along with our transportation department, we can provide service to half the United States markets.
This is the Frells family's land. When the sun comes out, the kids run and play right there. This used to be a shed. Now, it's where they get breakfast. This is more than just land. It's home. The Frells family runs with us on a John Deere 1 Series tractor. This land isn't the only thing that should live on for generations. Nothing runs like a Deere. Search John Deere 1 Series for more.
Visit Reynolds Farm Equipment, your hometown John Deere dealer today at reynoldsfarmequipment.com.
Needing to hire someone to take care of your loved one when you're away? Maybe your family member just needs someone to talk to when you're not around. Why not contact Indiana licensed Serenity Care Services? Call Angela, owner of Serenity Care Services, at 317-900-6202. Our team of trained and experienced personal care providers are licensed to serve seniors requiring companion care and light housekeeping services in Indianapolis and its 5 surrounding counties. Call us today at 317-900-6202. Now hiring qualified applicants.
Some fireworks in the distance here from Beech Grove High School as Cecina has a 20-7 advantage over Heritage Christian on homecoming evening. Caleb Cox, Tony Donahue here. What a great night so far for football. A little bit hotter than what we're used to, but Cecina 20 unanswered points there from about midway through the first quarter on. How impressive you've been by the Crusaders so far.
Yeah, and we mentioned this at the top of the hour, the segment before the game, is it is a little bit more unseasonably warm. But I'll tell you, we've been so fortunate here in week 5, and every Friday night has just been phenomenal in terms of the weather. And so it's been a great one here. 2 teams that have a lot of parallels with each other, both not only from a coaching style, but also from a personnel. And right now the Crusaders are certainly answering the call.
Absolutely, and look, if you're Cecina, you have to continue to move these chains and not get comfortable with that 13-point lead. Yes, you've scored 20 unanswered, but a great punt return got you in that position earlier on in the game despite the fumble. So we'll see what Cecina can do here on their first possession coming out of the half. We've got some scores from around the state of Indiana as well, Coach, if you want to get into some of the area scores as well.
Yeah, and some of these just the latest, not sure that the latest scores, but yeah, Traders Point up on Frontier 28-6. Zionsville last reported was up 13-7 on Noblesville. Covenant handing it to Tinley at 34-0 at the half. HSE 10-0 over Westfield. Chittard just up a score on Columbus North 21-13 with Carmel leading Lawrence North 17-0. got a real duel in the Hoosier Crossroads with Brownsburg and Fishers. Brownsburg leading that one 21-14 with Warren in the MIC conference up on Ben Davis 21-7, and Mount Vernon Delta deadlocked at half at 7 apiece.
Plenty of action across the family of networks here on IndianaSRN.org. Next week, high school football continues here. Don't forget to like, follow us on our social media pages as well as YouTube. When we broadcast all these games, Heritage Christian will kick off to start the second half. Their defense hasn't been terrible, but a lot of those momentum-shifting plays and the field position has really gone Cecina's way with some big punt returns.
Yeah, absolutely great point there at the end there, Tony, in terms of field position. It's been dynamically different for the Crusaders compared to the Eagles. And what a great thing with how this sets up for Cecina with scoring back-to-back touchdowns and getting the ball here to start the third quarter.
So here is the kickoff to start the second half. It'll drift back into the end zone. Barriott will take it, and it will be a touchback. So Heritage Christian led 7-0 here early in the first quarter. All Cecina since then. They lead 20-7. A lot of rushing attack on the double-headed monster, so to speak, for Cecina, with Mendez getting a lot of run action as well as Fitz Ramsey. How do you kind of bobble that up and try to change the strategy if you're Heritage Christian on defense?
Well, I think one is you got to think about those two, but one person that I'm really surprised we haven't heard much from and hasn't been targeted much on the offensive side is Tamir Woods, number 13, as you have him lined up here on the top part of your screen. And look for him maybe in the second half to be targeted a bit more too.
Fitz Ramsey, the lone man in the backfield. It'll be a quarterback keeper the entire way. Mendez makes one guy miss, gets past the line of scrimmage, pushes forward for about a 4-yard pickup there for second down and 6 coming up for Cecina.
Well, and he starts off where he left off in the first half. And these are unofficial, but 51 yards rushing there in the first half and 73 in the air. Had great balance and gets 5 here on first down.
So Heritage Christian will look to make a stop here on second down and 5. Cecina's first possession of the second half, leading 20-7 with just under 11:30 to go in the third quarter. Here's the quick handoff, stuffed in the backfield. A great defensive stop there for Heritage Christian on second down and 5 to push them back about 4 yards and give Cecina a third down and 9.
And that's where Brandon Fitz Ramsey get us introduced to a guy by the name of Colin Thompson. The preseason All-State selection. Hadn't heard his name a lot tonight. Had an opportunity to do Heritage Christian game earlier in the year against Traders Point, and Coach Ray just talked about this kid is relentless. Great leader, but has a motor that just won't stop, and has a totally different personality on the field than he does off.
First drive of the second half for Cecina has a third down and 7 coming up. Out of shotgun comes Mendez. Fitz Ramsey in the backfield. 3-step drop, will step up in the pocket, tries to break out of it. He will, uses the ref as a screen, pushes it back. The ball is loose. The ball is on the ground, and it will be recovered by Cecina. But they don't convert. A big defensive stop there by Heritage Christian.
Yeah, give David a lot of credit there, turning really nothing into something. But you also got to think when you're shifting like that is changing direction, is being able to protect the ball too. And they really dodged a bullet there by being in a position where they avoided the turnover. But great job by Heritage of getting the stop and forcing this punt here.
Here's a snap fielded, kicked at about the 15-yard line, into the air, bounces. It'll be fielded at the 40 on the run, past the 50 to the 45-yard line, and a nice little booster there for Heritage Christian by Valero. They'll take over in in Cecina territory at the 45 from Beech Grove High School. This broadcast is copyrighted by IndianaSRN and the Indiana High School Athletic Association for the private use of our audience. The use of pictures, videos, and audio without the express written permission of the IHSAA is prohibited. So exactly what you wanted to do if you're Heritage Christian there. You get a 3 and out, and now you have a great field position to try to cut this lead in half or more.
Yeah, it's the best field position that they've had since their first drive.
Quick handoff, makes one guy miss, spins out of it, but he is met at the line of scrimmage and pushed back for a loss of 1. So a second down and 11 coming there. No need to panic if you're Heritage Christian's offense, right? You don't want to start throwing deep, trying to get crazy yardage, because you know you're probably not going to be able to do that. But you want to have positive yards on these plays, and losing 1 yard there on first down is really not going to do what you need to do.
Yeah, Tamir Woods did a great job there, the DN coming in, making the tackle there for a loss of 1. He's a guy with great length on the edge, with great quickness as well.
So 2nd and 11 out of shotgun. Comes Heritage Christian. Antoine in the backfield. He will hand it off, and he is met immediately in the backfield by a gangle of Cecina tacklers, and that'll push him back. So Woods pushed back the running back for a loss of about 4. So just like that, you have some momentum on the stop. Now you're facing a 3rd down and about 15 yards from midfield.
Well, and it's quick, and Woods leads this team with sacks. He leads the team with tackles for loss, and you've seen it in back-to-back plays here with that. That play there just took way too long for it to develop. The defensive front got a great push on the O-line here. Look for Antoine to possibly get out of the pocket here and make something happen.
So we'll see if he can roll out and make a play to his right side. He's got 3 wide receivers, steps up in the pocket. He'll look, double pump, fire down the field. He had a man wide open, but it is picked off at the 20 by Cecina, down to the 45, make it the 40. We're going to have a horse collar tackle, so that should push Cecina all the way to about the 35-yard line. And just like that, Cecina will take over, which should be about the 35-yard line, but a double pump there, maybe second thought to throw, and then he underthrows it, and it is picked off and taken back to about the 47-yard line. Actually, it'll be a hold on Cecina, but nonetheless, Cecina with the turnover.
Well, and I think it's 1, 2, where I think that Antoine was looking for his receiver to kind of cut in, and he stayed flat down the sideline, more on a go route, because you see right here as he kind of throws it to the inside where he had him on the outside, being more vertical on more of a go route.
I don't know if that was an overthrow or an underthrow. Right? Yeah, because he had 2 wide receivers that certainly were wide open, but he threw to the man in the middle, which was not his player. It was from Cecina, so a nice interception there. And Cecina will take over for their second possession of the second half from about the 38-yard line. Man in motion, quick handoff. Fitz-Ramsey takes it, stuffed in the backfield, tries to move forward, picks up about 2 yards there. Set yourself up for a 2nd down and 8.
Yeah, I mean, I think the tough thing, and give Cecina credit defensively, I think that the Eagles' offense just has not been able to find any type of rhythm. Tempo has been off, and a lot of that has just been, to the benefit of the Crusaders' defense of not allowing them to get comfortable with either side of the pass or run.
So on a hot evening like this, we've seen Heritage Christian's defense on the field for a very long time, and again here, all of a sudden, within the first 5 minutes of the second half, they are back on the field. Fitz-Ramsey gets it, makes one man miss, makes a move. He's off to the races, passes the 50-yard line, makes 2 guys miss, and it's pushed out of bounds at about the 45-yard line. Good enough for a 1st down.
This kid really does a good job of not only patience, but he also is a good downhill guy to when he sees the seam or the gap, he hits it and does a really good job with field vision.
We'll see what the play call is here on 1st down coming up. We talked about it at halftime. If you're Heritage Christian, don't let Fitz-Ramsey beat you. And so far here on this possession, he's got a couple big chunk plays.
Well, and he's one, too, that kind of had to wait and buy his time with Daquan Dennis, who graduated last year, was a 1,400-yard rusher, and now it's his turn.
Little option here. Mendez decides to keep it. He is drug out of bounds just past the 45-yard line. They'll mark it at the 46. We got to give both teams credit here, Craig, on the fact that there's not been a lot of penalty markers throughout this entire contest. Maybe about 2 or 3 on each side.
No, and we talked about that at the start of the game, too, as both these teams are pretty disciplined. You're naturally going to have, some with any type of level of football, but certainly with high school you even expect a little bit more. But there hasn't been a lot of mental one. Been a few, which you're always going to have, but nothing that you see an abundance of.
20-7 the lead for Cecina, their second possession here of the 3rd quarter. Out of shotgun comes Mendez. Fitz-Ramsey in the backfield. It'll be Fitz-Ramsey with it. He'll go to the left side, and he will be pushed back and stuffed for about a loss of 1. So great tackling there by Heritage Christian to not allow them to get any more yards, because we know how quickly Fitz-Ramsey can turn a no gain into about a gain of 5 or 6. So Wallen there with a great tackle there to push him back to set up a 2nd down and a 3rd down and about 10.
Yeah, and really good job there. I was going to say, setting them up for 3rd and long. It was really important not to allow them to get a lot of positive yards. And give credit, Thompson was in there first to kind of hold on, and then his teammate came in to finish him off.
After this play, we'll be halfway through the 3rd quarter. A 3rd down and about 10 here for Cecina. Possibly 4 down territory. Mendez out of shotgun. He's under pressure, looks. Gets a big block, and he'll fire it deep downfield. Batted down, and it is incomplete, but flags in the air. It'll be a pass interference as Opper got there just a few tenths of a second early to make contact, and that'll set up really good field position here for Cecina.
Well, and, these are tough to defend, or not in a sense to defend, but to really gauge when balls are hanging in the air as long as they are. These aren't on a dart or lower, but when you kind of have these balls that are so high up in the air, you're in position to be there to cover, but then you're in a position where the ball's dropping to be able to have the timing of that, and a lot of times it results in what it did just there, and that is the pass interference.
I'm a little bit confused.
Did they pick up the flag?
I'm a little bit confused. It was offsetting
So replay
penalties.
the down.
So they will replay the down. So still setting it up for 3rd down and 9, possibly 4 down territory. Coach, are you going to the run here to try to make that a 4th and 5, knowing that this is more than likely going to be 4 down territory?
Well, I think if you can get 4 to 5 yards here, I think it definitely is. If you get 2 or maybe 3 or less, I don't know that you would.
Mendez keeps it, and a miscommunication. He had a wide receiver in the flats, but airs it out, and that'll bring up a 4th down decision time here for Cecina. It looks like they will punt it with a 13-point advantage.
That's what I expect. I mean, you're going to play field position. Especially when you have a defense not only that you had coming into this game, but also one that has displayed that tonight and against an Eagles offense that is averaging 48 points a game, and they're holding them to 7 at this point. So you play the field position and trust your defense.
So the punt will come from about the 40-yard line. Up in the air. It is a good one. It'll bounce at the 15, and it'll be fielded at the 1-yard line, it looks like. And that's a Pat McAfee-style type kick for the Brand. And it'll be a 99-yard drive if Heritage Christian wants to score here. An excellent punt. They'll mark it down at about the 5-yard line. So that's one to certainly make Pat McAfee proud.
Yeah, and you know how Pat used to do, too. He'd do the golf swing out there like he just hit his pitching wedge and made it bite.
So a great punt there by Nolan of Cecina to pin Heritage Christian deep into their own territory. 5:49 left here in the 3rd quarter. Pat Cherry Insurance, our staff will provide you over 40 years of trusted expertise and knowledge to help protect your assets. Visit us today so we can put a plan in place for you and your family. 317-894-7000 or email us at pat@cherryinagency.com. 1st down and 10 coming up here from the shadows of their own end zone. Antoine will keep it on the quarterback keeper. He'll pick up about 5 to set up a 2nd down and 5. Really what you needed there on 1st down with your backs against the wall.
It is. I mean, we talked about in the first half how Cecina had a 90-yard touchdown drive. Well, we'll see if Heritage can put one together at 95, starting here at their own 5 and now having the ball at the 10. Really like to see Antoine be able to make some things happen more with his legs. Get some things going to kind of help set up the pass, because right now it's been a little bit of a struggle for this Eagles unit to get some things going.
2nd and 5, Antoine out of shotgun. He will pitch it to his jet sweep wide receiver. Makes 2 guys miss, makes another guy miss. He will cut across field, and he is off to the races. It's Valero. He's at the 40, the 50, down to the 40. 2 guys to break, and he will be pushed down and tackled at the 38-yard line. Some great camera work there. What a great play on the jet sweep. Comes all the way across field, picks up plenty for the 1st down, makes a lot of guys miss there on the replay here.
You got about 58.
And just an excellent play here in execution, and a quick cutback right here. Makes a few guys miss, and off to the races you go.
Well, and look, again, he's a transfer from Fishers that came in, and Coach Ray had talked about that's been very unusual for them and getting transfers, and he's one that came over from Fishers that has been really an electrifying type player. We talked about him as far as finding the edges. You get this kid to the edge, and it's almost like lights out. And so he showed that in cutting across the field with a few jump cuts there and misdirections to give this offensive unit a big boost.
And really, as you talked about, Craig, this is a team that the offense has kind of been dull since that first drive of the 1st quarter where they scored. Now all of a sudden you got something going here. But just as equally important as that 57-yard gain, it's to continue this drive and to have it end in points.
No, indeed. I mean, they need them, and still plenty of football left. I mean, you got close to a quarter and a half to go, and they punch this in. They're one score down, and even with the missed extra point there, they're in a position where they can get right back in this game.
Craig Cox, Tony Donahue here from Beech Grove High School as Heritage Christian will look to come back in this one, trailing 20-7 as a quarterback keeper there. Good enough for the first down. Antoine goes down, and his helmet comes off.
Yeah, again, he's a kid. He's leading the team in rushing yards naturally and passing at 230-plus yards, but he's also averaging 107 on the ground. He only had 6, Tony, in the first half, and then he had 6 on his very first run here in the second half, and now 10 with that one. So some things that you really want to be able to see him get out of the pocket and make those types of things happen for some positive yards to help set up some other things in the passing game.
Craig, do you take a shot here? It looks like Cecina's kind of on their heels. They're a little bit tired, and Heritage Christian will take the timeout here with 3:35 remaining in the third quarter, trailing 20-7. So a big chunk play there to get yourself inside of Scecina territory. We will be back right after this on Indiana SRN.
Burtner Electric Incorporated has been proudly serving our residential and commercial customers with quality electrical repair for over 33 years. We are fully licensed and insured in electrical wiring and electrician service packages. You'll receive a competitive assessment whether you're a homeowner or a business owner, first-time or long-time customer. We offer free estimates for any new project. Call our licensed and experienced electricians today.
Can't make it to the game? We've got your back. Just go to www.IndianaSRN.org and tune in to all of the live action or go to our on-demand service and relive your favorite moments.
State school, but not trying to get away that far.
We're back. Quick first down play goes for about 1 yard as Indiana SRN's exclusive coverage of Cecina and Heritage Christian has you way past the midway point here in the third quarter with 3:10 to go. Heritage Christian, after giving up 20 unanswered points from Cecina, will look to score first here in the second half with just 3 minutes to go again in the third. 2nd and 10 out of shotgun. They will look to throw. Antoine keeps it. He's tripped up and down to about the 22-yard line. Good chunk of yardage there on 2nd down to set up a 3rd and short.
Yeah, you don't like that as a player. He saw all the open green space and just kind of lost his balance. Thought that there for about 3 or 4 yards he had it, but then just couldn't hold on. But again, it's still positive yards, and they're fine. They just got to stay poised and patient and understand, what points can do, not only for your offensive unit, but what that can also shift in terms of your defense as well.
I'm assuming 4 down territory here at the 22-yard line, 3rd down and 6. Antoine keeps it, looks across the seam, wide open, over the shoulder, touchdown pass. That's the 2nd of the night for Dora. And just like that, Cecina now sees their lead about cut in half. It's 20-13 with the extra point pending.
Yeah, great job here by Christian. Second time that he's found these two connect tonight with both their scores, both off passes here. And so Christian does a great job of making the corner bite to the outside and hit him with a slant, and great touch. And, not only the touch, but also leading him and hitting him in stride.
So a punt from Cecina leads to a big chunk of yardage on a 2nd down play for 57 yards, and then the touchdown there brings it within a touchdown deficit. Extra point pending. It is up. This one is blocked off the back of a helmet, and just like that, instead of it being a 6-point game, it is a 7-point game. Cecina has a 20-13 advantage over Heritage Christian. We'll be back with more third quarter action coming up right after this.
Burtner Electric Incorporated has been proudly serving our residential and commercial customers with quality electrical repair for over 33 years. We are fully licensed and insured in electrical wiring and electrician service packages. You'll receive a competitive assessment whether you're a homeowner or a business owner, first-time or long-time customer. We offer free estimates for any new project. Call our licensed and experienced electricians today.
Can't make it to the game? We've got your back. Just go to www.IndianaSRN.org and tune in to all of the live action or go to our on-demand service and relive your favorite moments.
That's great.
We're back here on IndianaSRN.org. Tony Donahue, Craig Cox, 20-13, Cecina. They lead Heritage Christian, but couldn't have been a better 4-minute sequence there for the Eagles of Heritage Christian.
Yeah, and one that was much needed. I mean, they've been a little flat offensively. It was sparked a lot by Valero's, 58-yard jet sweep, but set them up and they punched it in, and we're right back to a one-score game.
Boot kick fielded at about the 5-yard line by Burial. He passes the 20, gets it out to the 30, to the 31-yard line. So Cecina will have good position here to go back to the touchdown pass from the right side, and just a quick left and gone.
Yeah, great job, great move, and Christian, great route there, and for Antoine again to hit him right in stride. Again, as we just mentioned, to put this back to a one-score game.
So Dora with his second touchdown catch of the evening. That's 4 for him on the season, so he has doubled his season total so far. And Cecina will look for an answer here with 2:10 left in the third quarter. They will start this possession from the 31-yard line and the I formation. Mendez comes under center, fits Ramsey in the backfield. And that'll be a jump on the defensive side of things, so offsides for Heritage Christian. Marking another 5 yards for Cecina. First down and 5 coming up.
Yeah, it looked like they got Colin Jones. Both Colin Thompson and Jones are their staples on the defensive side. But things like there, you're antsy, especially after a score and things like that. But you just don't want to give them extra yards here, especially with things that aren't necessary.
So a first down and 5 as Cecina looks to gain some of this momentum back that they built there in that second quarter when they scored 20 unanswered points. Mendez fakes the handoff up the seam, has a wide open receiver, but simply overthrows him on the 1st and 5 pass attempt. He had what looked to be a wide open wide receiver, but just missed him a little bit over the top of the head as the intended target could not haul it in. Don't forget, tomorrow Kalamazoo takes on Defiance. HCHC.TV tomorrow coming up at 1:30. Don't forget to join us for some great college football action here on IndianaSRN as Kalamazoo takes on Defiance. 2nd and 5 after the penalty and the incomplete pass. Mendez under center, I formation. Quick pitch, fits Ramsey. Gets past the line of scrimmage, passes the 40, gets the first down to the 45, mark him down at about the 47-yard line.
Yeah, give him about 10 on the carry. It's interesting pre-snap there where, Heritage is just really stacking the box. They got about 7, if not 8 in the box there, really anticipating that run.
So first down and 10, under 2 minutes to play here in the third quarter, and a fast-paced homecoming evening from Beech Grove High School for the Cecina Crusaders here on IndianaSRN. Under center comes Mendez. 2 in the backfield, 2 wide receiver set. Taking his time with 1:36 to go. Looks to pass, scrambles, has a man back across the middle, and this is incomplete. More so as we've talked about, Coach, just the fact that you're throwing it across your body.
Yeah, really good coverage there again, and again, got a little bit of pressure. Pocket collapsed just a bit, but really good job there by Aiden Lyon on the covering.
So a 2nd down and 10. If you're Cecina, are you starting to look at the clock and making sure the clock is your friend, or do you worry about that in the fourth quarter?
No, and I think it's even late in the fourth quarter at that. I think you got to certainly disregard the clock at this point. Still in the third quarter here. I think you just want to stay true to who you are in terms of an offensive unit, and that is more making some things happen with Mendez, but mainly this ground game that the Crusaders have.
So 2nd down and 10 coming up, and it looks like we will have a false start on Cecina. So mark the Crusaders back 5 yards. That'll set up a 2nd down and a little bit longer here coming up for the Crusaders.
And if you're the Eagles defense, you want to keep them 5 or less here. Still keeping them in 3rd and long and setting them up for potentially what could be a 4th down punt. But you got to keep this under 5.
So a 2nd down and 15 after the penalty. Mendez under center. He will keep it. Looks to throw. Looks to his left side. Now scrambles. Fires it downfield in the air. He's got a man over the shoulder catch, but it is incomplete. Looking for burial, and that'll set up a 3rd down and 15.
Yeah, and I'm sure Mason would like to have that one back. What a really good throw. And I'll tell you got to give a lot of credit to this O-line that's really given Mendez some good time, even when he's flushed out of the pocket, but more so just on that pass that he stayed in the pocket. But really good touch there. Kind of just went through. Tough catch where it's over the head or over the shoulder, if you will, but certainly hit Mason right in the hands.
3rd and 15 here. How important is it mentally to just know when you're Heritage Christian where the sticks are?
Well, I think it's really big. I think here you got to keep them at least less than 10 so they're not in 4-down territory.
So from the 42-yard line, 3rd and 15, under pressure. Breaks out of it. Mendez throws the jump ball, and it is batted down, incomplete. So Heritage Christian keeps the momentum on their end with a big 3rd and 15 stop, and Cecina will be forced to punt for the 3rd time in this 3rd quarter.
Yeah, what a big stop by Heritage, and certainly give credit to Wade Whalen there. It's only 5'8", 5'9" DB going against the 6'3" receiver. So giving up quite a bit of size, but did a great job with his presence in terms of breaking that up and forcing, as you just mentioned, the 3rd punt in a row. And a long snap here.
Here's a snap over the head, down to the 15. We'll see if he gets it off. He gets tackled, but does get a punt off. It'll take a huge bounce for Cecina down to about the 42-yard line. So a play that could have been and should have been disastrous turns out to be not so bad, as Heritage Christian will take over from the 42-yard line.
Yeah, it's possibly about a 55-yard difference in terms. Don't know how he really even got that off. But a poor snap there ends up getting great recovery by the punter, and give him credit to get that kickoff and get the favorable bounce that they did for the Eagles to start on their own 42.
And credit to Nolan. The snap goes over his head. He fields it. You got a quick decision with the defender coming at you. Gets off a pretty decent punt before getting tackled and stuffed into the ground. And just like that, a quick bounce puts him back at the 42-yard line. So Cecina avoids disaster. Now their defense will have to step up here with 1:07 remaining in the 3rd quarter. Out of shotgun comes Antoine. He looks to his left. He'll step up in the pocket. Nowhere to go. Hit from behind. Keeps his feet moving and is spun down for about a pickup of 6. Under a minute to go here from Beech Grove High School in the 3rd quarter. Cecina, after scoring 20 unanswered points, has given up a touchdown here in the 3rd quarter. Both teams have missed extra points. That's where we sit at 22-13 with a 2nd down and 6 play coming up here for Heritage Christian. 2 wide receivers to the right, 1 wide receiver to Antoine's left, 2 in the backfield. Opper will take it. Passes the 50. Passes the 1st down marker and pushes forward for a gain of 7. And that'll be a 1st down and will more than likely be the last play of the 3rd quarter as the clock winds with under 20 seconds remaining.
Well, good there by CJ, hitting the hole, getting positive yards, and getting them a new set of downs here. And we'll probably let this quarter dissolve. Looks like that's exactly what's going to happen as we go to the 4th.
So a big 4th quarter upcoming here, brought to you by Reynolds Farm Equipment, serving our customers and community since 1955. After 3, Cecina leads 20-13 here on IndianaSRN.
Becoming a licensed sports official is a great way to make a positive difference in the community and support the over 160,000 Indiana student athletes that participate across 22 IHSAA sports. Sports officiating allows you to stay connected to the game, become a role model for our young student athletes, earn extra money, and support the patrons and communities of our IHSAA member schools. To learn more about becoming a licensed IHSAA official, log on to ihsaa.org/officials today.
We encourage you to follow us on Twitter at IndianaSRN. Find upcoming games, video highlights, and much more. Follow us now at IndianaSRN.
Back from Beech Grove High School, an exciting 4th quarter set up for you here on IndianaSRN. Cecina hangs on to a 20-13 advantage. Craig Cox, Tony Donahue, bringing you the fourth quarter action on IndianaSRN. It was 6 points on a touchdown for Heritage Christian. Extra point was missed in the third quarter. They trailed 20-7 at half. They have cut that lead now down to 7 points at 20-13. They have the football. They are driving here to start this fourth quarter. A 1st and 10. Here is the quarterback keeper. Pushes it forward past the 45-yard line. Mark them down at the 43-yard line for a pickup of 7.
Yeah, that's what I really would like to see more of is, again, as much as their offense has just kind of been discombobulated a bit and just putting the ball in the hands of the person that has the majority of their offense, where he's having them almost 350 yards, total yards a game, is let this man do the work. It can't solely rest on him, but you're without your leading running back. Let him do what he can with his arm, but let him do some things with his feet.
We'll see where the momentum shifts here on a 2nd down and 7. Quarterback keeper Fisher lost it, dives back for it, and I believe Cecina has the football, and it is recovered by the Crusaders of Cecina. What a play there. He had the football, simply did not protect it. It looked like it almost just went off of his own hip or leg, and Scecina makes a huge stop here to start the fourth quarter.
Yeah, really tough break there, trying to make some things happen. And I was going to say that almost last possession when he was scrambling around a little bit and changing his direction as we see the replay. But I think you're right, Tony. I think it was his own hip.
He went to change hands with the football to protect himself. Did not make the change from the right hand to the left hand. It goes down. Woods with the recovery. He has had some big defensive plays so far, and now Cecina has stolen back that momentum here to start the fourth quarter. Quick pitch. Fitz Ramsey makes 2 guys miss, lowers his shoulders, gets past midfield, tackled down at the 47-yard line. It'll be a 2nd down and short coming up here for Cecina.
Well, and we talked about that earlier in the game in terms of with Fitz Ramsey in terms of his yaks, the yards after contact. He's contacted at the line of scrimmage and still gets 8 out of that.
So 2nd and 2, pass midfield. Quick adjustment here for Heritage Christian. They'll show blitz. Quick handoff. Fitz Ramsey gets a pass right to the 1st down marker. We'll see where forward momentum marks him down as he's still on his feet. Gets well past the 1st down marker. They have not ruled this dead yet. He stays on his feet, and a 4-yard pickup turns into about a 13-yard pickup, and that's good enough for a 1st down for Fitz Ramsey.
Well, and one, too, that, not only give credit for him in terms of keeping his legs going, but in football, I don't think we give assists, but I think that the offensive line could get an assist for that in terms of pushing him forward for another 5 or 6.
A big push there by the offensive line for Cecina, good enough for the 1st down. Add another 13 yards rushing to Fitz Ramsey's total. 1 man in motion here. Hand off to Fitz Ramsey. He is their workhorse, and he has tripped up in the backfield but falls forward for about a pickup of 2. Set it up a 2nd down and 8 from the 39-yard line. You got to think here if you're Cecina, you're not really looking at the clock. More so than the clock, going up 14 means more than what's left on the scoreboard as far as timing.
It does. I mean, you mentioned it earlier, Tony, is that Cecina had 20 unanswered points, and then Heritage has now answered back, and you thought it might be leading to 14 unanswered, with Heritage, but then with the turnover, and here's Cecina driving again.
More Fitz Ramsey here on the pitch, cuts back, makes 1 man miss, and is stopped at the line of scrimmage, and he looks a little bit injured. He will get up quickly, though. But a lot of Fitz Ramsey here on this possession so far.
Yeah, just going to set up 3rd and 9 here. And so probably in a position, though, where, again, it's 4 down territory, you would think, even if they don't pick up I think it may – I don't know. If they don't pick up anything, I don't know that you go for it and play field position. But anything I think is positive 3 yards, they'll probably go for it.
3rd and 9 from the 39-yard line. Mendez comes out, looks across the middle, has a man, and it is picked off. It is deflected, and it is picked off by Heritage Christian. Here's the return from the 30 down to the 40, and he'll step out of bounds at the 39-yard line. But a big play, a big change of momentum on the interception, and Heritage Christian will take over. It's the senior Graves with his first interception on the season, and it couldn't have come at a better time for Heritage Christian.
Well, and typically when you see tip balls like this, a lot of times they do result in interceptions, so give credit to the safety here with this tip ball and being in a position and heads-up play. And a nice return at that.
So an interception there, and the momentum in this game so far, Craig, has really gone back and forth, back and forth. When one team has needed to make a play, they have. And when the other team has needed to make an answer, they have been able to do so as well.
Yeah, they have. And then now here in the second half, it's been more about they've answered each other with turnovers and not being able to turn them into points just yet. So Heritage has yet another opportunity here to get this game back even.
So here we go on the quick handoff to the 40-yard line and tackle just shy of the 40. So on first down, a pickup of about 3 to set up a 2nd and 7 coming up here for Heritage Christian.
Again, good positive yards on first down. And again, seeing what they might have. Unless they can get something quick right away with Antoine in the pocket, needing to get him outside and, again, make some things happen with his feet.
So 2nd down and 6 officially from the 39-yard line. IndianaSRN.org. Welcome to Beech Grove High School. If you're just joining us, it's been a back-and-forth contest. Cecina went ahead with 20 unanswered points, but Heritage Christian answered back in the third quarter. They cut the lead in half after missing the extra point. It is 20-13 Cecina. Quick first down run there, but it looks like, Craig, this one will be coming back due to a hold.
Yeah, it's negated. 15-yard run coming back, which is tough. But a lot of times when you have those stretch plays and playing the long side of the field, a lot of times it's going to happen. The play takes a long time to develop to get back to the line of scrimmage, and a lot of times you're getting holds on the top end of that in the defensive pursuit.
So 2nd down and 11, it looks like, coming up here for Cecina's defense that has played really well up to this point. A couple plays here and there, but we do have to give them a lot of credit for being able to answer when they need it.
Yeah, again, we talked about a couple times where this is a Heritage offense that averages 48 a game, and they got 13 with 8 minutes to go. So, again, this Crusader defense has really played true to form tonight.
So 10-yard penalty makes it 2nd and 7. Antoine under pressure fires a quick screen, and it just can't be corralled in by Opper, and that'll set up a 3rd down and 17 coming up. I don't think that you're in 4-down territory here, but it probably depends on how many you get here on 3rd down.
Yeah, no, it's way too much time on the clock. And then I think, too, I like how that play, not only the play call, but how it was developing. But I think that there was just some breakdown on that offensive front that allowed the Crusaders' defensive line to get a little bit more pressure and had Kyle throw that a little quicker than he would have liked.
This is a senior-laden Heritage Christian team. Antoine, Opper, Dora, Valerio, all seniors. They've been here before. Let's see what they can do. 3rd and 17. He's hit in the backfield, throws a bomb into the air. It's up for grabs, and it'll be intercepted by Cecina at the 30-yard line. A battle, kind of like in the backyard when you would throw up the Hail Mary to see what happens. This time it is picked off by Cecina. That is none other than the younger Burial with an interception on the night.
Yeah, and again, as much as we've been calling that name, we get his younger brother, Madden, who's just a sophomore. But really good job there. Probably didn't gain a whole lot. It would have been 4th down. They would have punted. Probably got the ball about where they normally would. But it's got to be great for the younger Barry out there, not only for his team, but also for him in getting the pick and setting the Crusaders up here with 7 minutes to go.
And I think the message on the sideline right now, if you're Heritage Christian, is, look, we're not out of this. We need to get a stop. And on 1st and 10, here's a quick pitch to the left side, cuts back through, and a pickup of about 17 yards for the 1st down. That time it was Michael McConnell. He only has 5 carries on the season for 20 yards. He gets a little bit more than that there on the 1st down play.
Yeah, just accumulated what he did the whole season and won it, and one that we haven't really talked about at all tonight. So great opportunity here for him, and great positive yards here, not only on 1st down, but to almost get them to midfield.
So we're almost to the halfway point here of this 4th quarter. Cecina leading 20-13. Under center comes Mendez. 2 men in the backfield. This will be a quick pitch, and it'll be McConnell again. He'll try to look for some room, but he'll be stopped for a gain of 2. Are we concerned that we're seeing McConnell on this drive? We did see Fitz Ramsey come up a little bit gimpy there on that last drive.
Yeah, we did, and a great point there, and certainly hasn't been out for this series yet, so it makes you wonder what may be going on with his availability.
So we'll see what happens here. Second down and about 8 coming up, with the best playmaker for Cecina currently on the sidelines. He did come up holding his ankle after a play on the last drive for Cecina. I formation, Mendez under center. It's McConnell in the backfield with him. This time it's the fullback who will get it, who will make one guy miss, and he will be tripped up down to about the 48-yard line. Plenty enough for the first down. That was the senior Thibault. That's his second carry of the season, and it goes for a first down.
Yeah, great job there on your up back, getting the downhill run and, putting himself in a position where he gets his team a new set of downs, and it continues to move this clock.
Now, as you just mentioned, you're looking at the clock here. You want to get that play clock down to about 5 or 6 seconds before you snap the football.
Correct. Now you're in a time where that does need to probably have a little bit more presence, and it can't move quick enough for this Crusaders offense.
Fitz Ramsey back in the game. He will take the pitch on the jet sweep, lower his shoulder, make 2 guys miss, down to the 38-yard line, stays in bounds, and the clock will stop. And we have a hold on the offensive side of the football. So take that gain, move it back. Excuse me.
Oh, was it unsportsmanlike? I'll wait for the official
we'll see
call
what the
here.
Play call is here.
It said dead bell. Looks like both sides.
Yep. So an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty on Beech Grove. Excuse me. We're at Beech Grove on Heritage Christian, and this will move it all the way inside of the 30-yard line. Officially mark it at about the 24. At the 24-yard line is where it will be. So not only do you break off a chunk run of about 17 yards, you add 15 on top of it, a 32-yard gain. You just simply can't have that here late in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, I was going to say, it can be big in any part of the game, but when you're down 1 score and your opponent has the ball and they're driving with 5 minutes to go, Tony, you're right. It even becomes more paramount.
So under 5 minutes to go, Mendez keeps it. He'll get hit in the backfield, pushes forward to the line of scrimmage, no more. Set up a second down and 10. But Cecina in control of this football game and in control of the clock.
Yeah, and great decision there by David. I mean, it looked like he was more in an option-type situation there and thought about pitching out there to Fitz Ramsey, but had good penetration from the defensive front and decided to keep that and see whatever positive yards he could get. So we love to see that in a quarterback, especially at the high school level, making those type of decisions.
So 3 in the backfield. It's Mendez and Fitz Ramsey, the 2 up backs. Mendez keeps it, looks for the option. Now he will lower his shoulder and get sacked in the backfield, back to the 29-yard line. So that is a loss of about 6. That'll bring up a 3rd down and 15. They do have a relatively decent field goal kicker. Are you looking to just gain a few more yards here to make that field goal to go up 2 scores a little bit closer?
Yeah.
Or how do you play this here?
Yeah, and I think his range probably is within about that 30-32, so they're going to need about 5 to 7 yards here to kind of get in that. And it'll be interesting to see if Coach Hurley would do that and put this possibly to a 2-possession game, or if he tries to put it away and going for it on 4th down.
So 3:40 left. This could be the play of the game here. Mendez fires it to the end zone. He's got a man, and it's going to fall short, deflected, so great defense there, throwing it into double coverage, and Heritage Christian gets the stop on 3rd and 15 that they needed. The clock stops, importantly for them. 3:32 left to go here. We will see what the decision is on 4th and 15 from Cecina. I think they're going to kick the field goal.
Yeah, which is really interesting. I mean, because that or they punt. Wow. This is really big for I'll tell you, I'm not going to go back to the Colts game, but if he makes this when Hot Rod missed his from 42 and this young man's hit one from 45, that's pretty impressive just to have faith in your kicker to be able to go this distance as a high school kicker.
A 46-yarder. He has missed an extra point. Snap is down, kick is up. It is well short. It is well short. And instead of going up 2 scores, you have opened the door for Heritage Christian to be able to drive 65 yards for the tying touchdown. We shall see. Very, very interesting play call there, Craig.
No, it was. I was a bit surprised because I really thought that they would go for it because you're not going to really lose a lot. Even if you didn't get any positive yards off that, you're still in a position where you actually lost 5 yards because the ball would have been at the 28-yard line, and since it's at the 35. But for whatever reason, I don't know if we're marking it back all the way to the 20. I don't know if we missed a penalty or.
It's certainly not a touchback, correct?
Yeah, no, I was thinking you got it where he missed the.
I thought you got it where the ball was kicked.
Kicked at. I don't know if we missed a penalty that we didn't see that was called.
Well, nonetheless, maybe a little bit of a advantage there for Cecina. Screen pass to the 20, pushes forward, and he is hit and taken down at the 26-yard line, so a quick gain of 6 yards there on first down. You've got 2 timeouts if you're Heritage Christian after burning one there in the third quarter. But you would have to think a little bit more of a sense of urgency than what they're showing.
You do. I mean, they have 2 timeouts left, but you would like to be able to get to the position where you're trying to maximize the efficiency of this clock. But give credit to the Crusaders. They've not allowed Antoine to get comfortable at all tonight.
Out of shotgun comes Antoine. He'll keep it, and he's hit wide at the line of scrimmage. No more, and that'll set up a third down and about 5. The initial hit there came on the defensive side of the football for Cecina from, once again, Mr. Woods. He's had a great night on the defensive side.
And it's probably a position that even though you're deep in your own territory right here, if you don't pick this up, you're in a position where even where you're at in field position, it would be 4-down territory.
So 3rd and 4, 2:23 to go. They've given up about 1:30 to only gain 6 yards. 4-down territory. Stepping up, Antoine tries to spin out of it, and he will be pushed back for a sack. You absolutely need to call a timeout here if you're Heritage Christian, and you got a 4th down and about 7 coming up.
I haven't seen it yet, but
so still ticking. 2:02 left. The quarterback has walked off the field. Fisher has walked off the field here. 15 seconds have gone off the clock.
Yeah, I don't know why.
And finally a timeout. We'll see if the officials do indeed reset the clock to maybe about 2:08, but that was 17 seconds left off the clock that should not have ever ran off. Exciting finish to this game coming up as Cecina leads 20-13 on IndianaSRN.
I'm Keith Myers, Vice President of IndianaSRN. Thanks for joining us. Do you know IndianaSRN broadcasts 350 games a year? All sorts of sports? Yeah, we do. Hard to believe, isn't it? IndianaSRN loves to put student athletes first on our website. If you're a business out there, we probably can help you too. Contact us at coach@indianasrn.org. Grandma from out of state thanks you. Mom and Dad who can't get to the game thanks you as well. In fact, our athletes watch the games over and over again. Our military has enjoyed the games as well. So sit back and enjoy the game. It's IndianaSRN.
We're back here on IndianaSRN.org from Beech Grove High School, where Scecina leads Heritage Christian 20-13. A 4th and 8 coming up here with 1:51 to go. Very poor clock management there to call that timeout on 4th down. Let's see if they convert here. They need 9 yards to get the first down. Out of shotgun, 4th down, fires it to the left side. It is batted down and incomplete, and that'll seal the deal here for Cecina as Heritage Christian has just 1 timeout left. Not probably the play you were looking for, but a step up and an overthrow there, and that'll all but do it for Cecina.
No, and it puts you in a tough position on 4th down. I think it was really more about the 2nd and 3rd down plays that they had that set them up in that position to where Cecina could play this more in a zone or coverage to be in a position where they knew they were throwing. And so you really can probably run one play and then go into victory formation, I would imagine.
Don't forget to look out for the coaches pool coming up this week on IndianaSRN, as we should see a kneel down here for Cecina. They are in I formation with McConnell in the backfield. He's got 2 carries for 17 yards here, and it'll be a false start on the offensive line. IHSAA officials, participation in high school athletics does not end with high school graduation. Even if you have been away from the game for a while, you can get right back in the game by becoming a licensed official in any of the 20 sports sanctioned by the IHSAA. Contact their offices or check out IHSAA.org. So a 2nd down and 15, Heritage Christian with just 1 timeout remaining. I still think you will have to run 1 play here if you're Cecina. McConnell in the backfield, 3 wide receivers set to the right, 1 to the left. Mendez takes it, hands it off to McConnell, cuts back to the right. He's got plenty of room to the 20, to the 15, to the 10, to the 7-yard line. First down, that will do it, seal it for the Cecina Crusaders, who will move to 5-0 on the season. Indiana Mulch and Stone, since its inception in 1987, Indiana Mulch and Stone has been dedicated to providing the highest quality products to landscapers, businesses, and residents in central Indiana. Our first priority and foremost goal is to establish long-term relationships with our customers by offering exceptional service and the highest quality landscape products. This philosophy has defined our success for the last 35 years and will continue for decades to follow. IndianaMulch.com. McConnell gets the pitch to the 10, and he has pushed back. And here's where sometimes you just hope that better tempers prevail, because if you're Heritage Christian, very easy to be a little bit upset that they're in fact not taking a knee.
Yeah, and I'm surprised by that, to be honest. But one thing I want to mention too is this Michael McConnell coming in. He's really shown some great things. Is when you got Fitz Ramsey's not in there. This kid's a dynamic little runner, and not only that, he's only 5'9", 140 pounds. But he's not only quick and elusive, but he actually runs pretty hard. So there's some great things that they have with both him, Ramsey, and then Greathouse, who's lined up at the tailback now, get the carry.
Minzy bobbles the snap, gives it to Greathouse, and he will go in for the end zone touchdown with 31.3 seconds to go. 26-13 the advantage. Coach, here's what I think about. Sometimes what goes around comes around. Yeah. And Heritage Christian, not only they're going to remember the loss, they're going to remember that second touchdown that really was probably not necessary to go up by 2 scores.
Yeah, I mean, it's something you have 40 seconds to go. You would have thought that they would have taken a knee. There's really not a lot of things you're accomplishing there. And I think as much as Cecina remembers last year getting beat by Heritage in the regular season and then coming back in postseason and first game of sectionals, and then Cecina beats Heritage. Now it's flipped where Cecina has now beat Heritage in the season, and then like you just mentioned, probably scoring at a time that might have not been necessary. That could come back for these two teams to meet in postseason again on the replay.
Well, let's check out the replay here, and really just untouched all the way through. I think maybe Heritage Christian thought that would either be a victory formation, but nonetheless, that is a touchdown run for Cecina to put them up 2 scores, 27-13. We want to remind you tomorrow, Kalamazoo takes on Defiance, HCAC.TV at 1:30. Coming up on Monday, Brownsburg and Heritage Christian on IndianaSRN.org, a great soccer matchup for you. On Tuesday, Park Tudor takes on Heritage Christian in volleyball. Don't forget to like and subscribe at IndianaSRN.org. And then on Thursday, a great volleyball match between Greenwood Christian and Chittard takes on Heritage Christian. We're going through these pretty quickly. Next week, a lot of football action for you here on IndianaSRN.org. Don't forget to like and follow us on Facebook and Twitter for the updates on where you can find your favorite game coming up 1 week from this evening. 5-0 for Cecina after this one. Craig, I think when you're Cecina, you can look back at some of the mistakes that were made, the fumble, the snapped punt that went over the head, but nonetheless a 27-13 win. But if you're Heritage Christian, you look at this saying, hey, we had every opportunity in that second half to take the lead or to tie this football game.
Yeah, they did. I mean, they had opportunities. They just couldn't capitalize on opportunities that were given, as Valero gets a nice return out here just past the 30. But yeah, and I think a big part of tonight's game is not so much what the special plays that you saw a few of them from Cecina's offense, but more so their stellar defense coming into this game and how they kept a team that was averaging 48 a game to 13. But most importantly, a guy in Kyle Antoine in the quarterback that's averaging 350 yards of all-purpose yards a game. They never allowed him to get comfortable, never got in rhythm, where either if he wasn't being hit, then he was being hurried, but never had what seemed to be a comfort level in the pocket tonight. And so give them credit for that, for never allowing them to really get in sync.
And you have to think, we'll look back on this game in a few weeks, when more than likely these teams will probably match back up in late October, maybe early November, in the IHSAA playoffs.
Yeah, and you got next week Heritage has Covenant, which is not going to be an easy game. I know Covenant was winning big tonight. I think it was 47-6 or something like that early on that I last heard. And then, of course, Cecina, who goes now to 5-0, but next week they got number 1 in 1A, Lutheran.
The last play of the game, as the horn goes off, Antoine will step up, and he will simply sit down on the ground at the 39-yard line, and that'll wrap it up. Scecina moves to 5-0 on the season with a big victory over Heritage Christian, 27-13. We'll be back right after this. We'll keep it right here real quick. Craig, your thoughts on this contest? We saw two really, really good teams.
No, we did. I mean, two that came into this game very much alike in terms of offensively and defensively. And I think it was a situation where, it was just one that Cecina seemed to just kind of out-execute the Eagles in terms of what they were trying to get done here tonight. But really good game, one that Cecina again goes to 5-0, and you got Heritage at 3-2.
A playoff-type atmosphere. I know it's homecoming night. How much you're going to look at and say this is probably the competition on both sides that we're going to play when we get deep into sectionals and into regionals?
No, it is, and I think that both these teams are set up to do some good things in the postseason, and wouldn't be surprising to see these two, depending on how the draw comes out. You'd like to see two teams like this play each other in the sectional championship, but with a blind draw, you never know. Could be first round like it was last year.
You like that blind draw?
I don't. I don't like it in any of the sports here in Indiana. I think the IHSAA does a great job, but I'd love to see it seeded, to be quite honest. So it just kind of puts teams in a position to where you have potentially the best matchups in the championships.
Well, that's a different discussion for a different night. A great night of football here, 27-13. Cecina moves to 5-0 on the season. Heritage Christian now finds themselves in the loss column for the second time this season. A great, hard-fought battle here on homecoming night for Cecina. Don't forget to follow us, IndianaSRN, IndianaSRN.org. We'll be back with plenty of high school football action coming up next week. Wanted to shout out Chuck Levine from Beech Grove High School, doing a great job for the Wiz, Jerry Collins, and our guy, Coach Keith Myers. I'm Tony Donahue alongside Craig Cox. Thank you so much for spending your Friday night of Indiana High School Athletic Association football action with us here on IndianaSRN.